Good morning, everybody, whoever happens to be watching this. Thank you so much for tuning into the Gaming Circle podcast. Forgive me for being a little too hyped because that new intro music that was provided by the Wandering Dutch still gets me going every time we start this. So thank you guys so much for showing up. This is the podcast where usually my brother, Mr. Everborn Saga, and I try to make sense of the weekly news. But this week he seems to be a little late. You know how Black people do. We're gonna let it slide. But you know what? I have been thrilled. I've been blessed to be joined by this man, which if you've been around the Twitter streets, you know exactly who I'm talking about. This may be his first time on a podcast, but you've heard his smooth voice, you've heard his positivity, and he has graced us with his presence. And we are so appreciative. We have Infinite Umbra in the house. What's going on, good sir? How you doing today?
Oh, not too much. I feel like I need to put on extra dulcet, deeper tones now that you just introduced me.
The extra dulcet this morning, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us.
So yes, we appreciate you coming in. We appreciate you joining us for this conversation. For those, the rare few who may have joined us, who may not know what you do and who you are in these old Twitter streets, please, how about you explain exactly, how you come to be part of the gaming community and what you do, how people can usually find you.
You guys can usually find me. I think everybody that's here pretty much knows where I'm at, but you guys can find me, of course, on Twitter and on Xbox, if I like you enough to give you my gaming credentials. But you can find me under Umbra Infinite. And you might be wondering, like, why is it Eternal Umbra here and then Infinite Umbra there? It's a long story. But I look at it as both as their eternity and such, and I mixed and matched. But basically, because Eternal Umbra got banned on Twitter some time ago, so we're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay.
But before I matured and understood, like, okay, I can't be too extra on Twitter and got myself corrected, I then came back as Infinite Umbra, and then started that journey from there. I've been gaming for a long while. I think the Xbox community is the best community there is, personally. But I'm all for all gamers. I don't care what you play on, PlayStation, Nintendo, whatever. As long as we can talk games, I'm down for it.
Well, well said. Well said. We appreciate you coming here and blessing us with your dulcet tones and that positivity, because that's exactly what we're about here on the show as well. We every week, sometimes last week was Nintendo. We gave them some righteous smoke for various reasons. But we Nintendo gamers, we Xbox gamers, we PlayStation gamers, and from time to time when the deals arise, we're also PC gamers. That's why I usually play PC, because it's cheap.
Yeah.
In many instances, I get a good deal on a game I've been wanting to play for a while, right? So I play it on PCs from time to time. So, and to that note, let's start how we usually start. And welcome to all the folks in the chat. I see Paul. I see you there. AFC. I see you, Paul. Mr. Joanna Dark, Big Bad Mo. Appreciate you guys so much for showing up. They're always part of the community, always here to make the conversations better. Y'all better get your piles of shame ready, because we're going to expect some of them from you as well. We're not here exposing ourselves all day for nothing. We want to see some receipts. We're not here by ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
And for those who may not know, Everborn will be joining us shortly. He's running a little bit late, but we're going to continue to get started, and he'll jump in as he can. So let's start with what we've been playing this week. So as our guest, Umbra, how about you fill us in? What's been keeping you busy? It doesn't have to be, a lot or anything, any games that have been calling your name, anything that's been keeping you busy as of late.
These past weeks have been crazy, right? Because after the Halo Infinite flight, man, it threw off my balance of gaming heavy, right? So I was playing Kena on my PC before that, and then I was playing also, what is the name of it? Scarlet Nexus, and also Tales of Arise. And the Halo flight threw everything off. So now I'm trying to get back into those right now, and I'm one of those gamers that
says play. Oh, okay, cool. Forgive me. The chat was saying we were jammed for some reason, but now it looks like we're good.
Oh, okay.
Continue. Yes, maybe YouTube is doing something funky. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. I was saying, I'm one of those gamers that kind of focus on one game at a time. So that makes it even harder for me and plays into the backlog issues I have.
In this world we live in, yeah, for sure. Too many games out there.
Too many games. That's why Xbox has no games. I'm like, really? I'm like 2 generations behind on some of these games. It's insane. But yeah, lately I'm trying to get back into Scarlet Nexus, Tales of Arise.
Okay.
I'm going to try to just diversify like that and just play maybe 2 or 3 games at a time and give 2 hours to each. That's what I think I'm going to start doing.
That's cool, man. So how's the Scarlet Nexus been treating you? I actually started that game and thought, oh, I'll give this a shot. There's a little bit of melodrama here and there. Like I have not been the type to enjoy games where your internal monologue becomes your external, where people just keep talking. I should talk about my feelings. I was just like, yo, this is a little weird. But like 30 hours in, I'm still hooked, bro. I'm like, oh no. I love this game.
I really do. I've enjoyed it so far. I haven't got really, really far into it yet. Okay. But that's because of, again, the Halo Infinite flight. It just threw me off. And then, of course, I've been in the spaces just trying to build up the community and things like that. So a lot of that played into. I consider that as, if anyone doesn't know, I kind of consider that as the community kind of gaming too, right? Because we all just come together and talk about games and things like that too. So it's part of it. But yeah, Scarlet Nexus is interesting. One of the things I'll say, I don't know. I think I need to switch back to the Japanese subs for this because. Sometimes the English dubs just don't do it. It's
funny as hell, man. It's funny as hell. It's absolutely like hilarious sometimes. I'm just like,
yeah. Yeah, like I even with Tales of Arise, I listen to them and they're like, no, we're going to do this. Like, no, that doesn't sound dramatic enough. I don't think you hit that one right. And it's so funny because I've been thinking about getting into voice acting. And then I hear that and I'm like, please, if I ever do this, don't let me come off. Like
you see, now that's an idea, my friend.
Yeah.
And community, please agree or disagree. Listen to this man's voice. Should he not be a voice actor? I say I vote yes, good sir. For sure, 100%.
I knew there was a reason why I liked you. You see all this good energy right here?
Nah, for real. You have a great voice. Every time we speak on Spaces, I'm like, that man has a great voice. You are absolutely right, man. You should look into that for sure. I'm not even joking, for real. That's a very good idea.
We had it was a space I was in the other day. I was messing around with this guy named Gaming Since NES, and he had a space talking about pitch me a movie from a video game. So me loving Halo as I do, I had to come in there and just, this is Sierra 117. And I had I gave him a couple of those and were it so easy. I was just messing around, but I'm definitely thinking about
real quick. Let's bring him in. Always late, but always on time. Mr. Everborn Saga.
The Duke.
The sir of Everborn Saga. How you doing, good sir? How you doing today?
What's happening? You guys got to.
Oh, you're not even there yet. You're still up. You're still on your way. Are you? I can hear that a little, right?
Yeah. I wanted to jump in case there was any slander that I could throw your way. In the meantime,
we still early on.
Guys, go ahead. I will be in front of the workstation shortly.
No worries. The slander will wait for you, bro. Don't even worry about it. We'll see you soon. Later, man. So go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, like, definitely thinking about doing it. And I see a few people. What I love about this community, like even yourself included. I've been watching you for a while. I seen you on a Boom show. I think that's when I was first introduced to you. I don't want it to sound odd, but and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I love hearing intelligent brothers talk just anything, right? But particularly something I love and my passion in gaming. And you and Everborn are top notch. And I don't say that just to blow your head up. And we
appreciate that. That's wonderful.
Absolutely, brother. And just hearing you guys, it kind of inspired me more to kind of go into the journey of doing, like, maybe possibly getting into podcasting. And I had a few friends and like people on Twitter and things like that who said, hey, you should try podcasting. You should do this. You should do that. And they also pointed out voice acting, things of that nature. And these are two things I had always been thinking about, but never really said, I could do that. Sometimes it takes that little push. Yeah, so I appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
And seriously, just to continue that, we stand on the shoulders of giants ourselves, right? We've been inspired by people like Paris Lilly and all these other folks in the community, OGs, like Danny Pena, all these guys, who've been speaking eloquently, positively, people of color speaking great and positive in the community, Black people, so And if you're not going to be, if you want to see more of yourself out there, sometimes you just need to get out there, you know. So we were like, we'll do it, but we'll do it in a very specific kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So we've been. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say I want to give a quick shout out to my what we call ourselves, the ES. You all might see them on Twitter. My good brothers, Paul AFC, as you mentioned, and
yes,
I see Bricks in there, Brixington. Just want to give them a shout out for coming and support me. And
we appreciate y'all just pulling up, just being part of the conversation. That's great. You know, we always love that.
And these guys right here, they'll support you 100%. I see my buddy Captain too. I see you, Phased Captain. And Pyro, he says I should do voice acting in the Elder Scrolls 6. I took a knee in the arrow. Arrow in the knee. I took a knee in the arrow.
Indeed. Yes,
thank you guys.
No, but seriously, these are things that tend to be dreams, right? Until you start making action about taking action on them, you know. And me with podcasting and getting out there, it was always just a dream. I was watching Mr. Boomstick, you know, Officer Nice Guy, they call him, you know, for a long time, and he was like, "Yo, bro, why don't you get on?" And I got on with him on the show once, and he was so appreciative, and we had such a good time that he offered me a spot on the panel, and that's just how it's happened, you know. And me and Everborn connected online, and it's been crazy ever since. These are just dreams until you start taking action, man. But seriously, you know, that voice acting and getting out there and promoting, and you know, it's great, man. And more of us should be out there doing that good work, because then more of us get to see more of us in front on the other side of the screen, and that can only work for good, you know. So
yeah, absolutely.
So
I was actually watching that show. I was watching that show when he made you in.
Oh yeah, for real. That's awesome. Yeah. See, so you've watched my sad rise. Not meteoric just yet.
The great ascension has begun.
Indeed. So let's see. All right. So as far as what I have been playing this week, so as you guys can see on the screen, we'll get back into it when Everborn gets in front of the workstation. We started, and this whole conversation started from a conversation that he and I had a couple days ago, where it was like, oh well, we need to play this, we need to play that. We saw the Uncharted trailer. Let's not get into that debacle, which I guess we can kind of get into, because that is game adjacent, I will say.
Absolutely.
I saw that and I was very sad and disappointed. Just me, myself, and I, because it felt like directed by committee. You know, oh, let's put some video game parts in there because people will like that, right? Yeah. Anybody who's played the games can literally pick out, oh yeah, that scene's from this one, that scene's from this one, and it's a little bit of a hodgepodge of 2 and 3,
right?
So far from what I've seen. So I was talking with everyone about it, and he goes, well, the last one I remember playing was 1. I'm like, oh, you've only played Uncharted 1, right? And that's what started us down this path.
You know, it's something else, because maybe if he played more like of the Uncharted and such, maybe he be more of a PlayStation fan or something. Isn't that something?
You know, look, and that's why I will always give PlayStation their roses, because in certain places they are undeniable. Yeah, their cinematic experiences, their cinematic games. Oh, you're not a gamer if you haven't tried it. You need to try, at least try it. Not everybody will love it, but it is subjectively one of the top tier development houses out there today doing these things, right?
Unquestionable. And
yes, and we have the man Somo Backslap in here. Welcome, good sir. He says Mark Wahlberg was a mistake. Yes, sir, he was. Do you know who should have been there? Stephen Lang. If you don't know Stephen Lang, he's from Avatar and other bunch of movies. But the reason why I specifically say Stephen Lang is because him and Nathan Fillion did a fan film of Uncharted a few years ago. If you haven't seen it, Google it. Go to YouTube. Nathan Fillion fan film. Stephen Lang is Sully, and man, even if you don't get Nathan Fillion, who frankly I think was a better choice for this movie, Stephen Lang should have been, with the beard, the whole thing, the mustache. He was perfect. Mark Wahlberg, I'm like, we'll see, you know. But yes, I'm sorry.
I'm half expecting to hear the Boston accent. You can't go that way, Drake. Get in the car.
To park his car over there, you know.
Get in the car.
No masshole accent over here right now. And I can say that because I lived in New England for many years. Shout out to the Pats. I know people hate me when I say that.
You know, I had a brother I talked with in the spaces the other day named Hobgoblin. And his accent is so thick, Bostonian thick. I thought the brother was from overseas, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, you have this And then I started listening to him. I'm like, brother, your voice is so cool. It sounds like a mobster. And I'm like, where are you
Yes,
from?
yes. He
He's
sounds like
"I'm
his nickname should be Big Pussy, right?
Right. Right. He's like, oh yeah, mate, I'm in the service here. But his voice is so thick, I can't even act like properly do it. But it's so funny too, looking at slow-mo backslap. He says, ever fraud saga.
Oh, that's his job in here, by the way. His job, Slow-Mo, is to come in here and get the slanderous one all riled up. That's what he does every week. so don't mind him. He's just here performing his role in this podcast. It's all good.
We're all about to get a fraud name, because I guarantee you there are some games you all probably will be shocked to see that I have not played.
And you know what? I agree with that, but I will say anybody who's out here trying to fraud, trying to be job well done. yes, you do your job real well. Anybody who's out here fraud and talk about how come you haven't played this, how come you haven't played that, we want to check your receipts too, brother. Absolutely. We want to check your receipts too, because chances are some of these games you haven't played either, good sir. So we're gonna get into that, But for now, we're keeping it light. We're gonna start with a few of the topics of the week and whatnot, because we want Everborn to pull up in here. I think he's pretty close to getting in here. I want to see his list, because mine is also a little scandalous. I'll be honest. Well, all of us have scandalous lists. It is
Absolutely.
what it is. So but no. So yeah, I've been playing a little bit of this, and of course Game Pass. Shout out to Game Pass. Shout out to Quick Resume. It's pulling my attention it does, because I could just try this for a little bit. I could just try that for a little bit.
Quick
so
Resume
between this
is
and then I jump into Scarlet Nexus. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, Quick Resume is major. I don't think it gets enough love.
It's changed the way people play games, man. It really has. Between Quick Resume and Game Pass, meaning you don't even have to. Well, this is a trifecta: Quick Resume, Game Pass, and cloud streaming. You don't have to wait for it to load. You can switch real quick, and you can just try it. Oh man, I've tried it's on my phone. I'll give it a quick shot right now. I can just load it up on the top screen and just start playing. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm playing Halo, and it's not loaded on the hard drive. It's just in the cloud. And yes, it's not like the tip of the spear, the most quality experience with using my 3080 or whatever, but It's good enough and it's fun, and it doesn't get in the way, and it's not taking up my entire screen, because it's in a window. You can put it to the side, just in the corner, and just be playing while you're doing other things.
And then,
it has changed the way I game.
And then, of course, you got xCloud too. So, I mean, you get to go on a go. And I've taken my Razer Kishi with me, and I go to work.
Oh, shout out to the Kishi! I love that thing. Yes, it's cool, man. Real cool. Yep,
I love it. I didn't expect it to work as well as it does,
and it really does work absolutely well. You're absolutely right. It's unusual how much of it almost makes me wish that Xbox would create one of their own, something that's made for that purpose, because the Kishi, because it's made to fit more different handsets and all of that, so they had to, in my opinion, they had to cut some corners here and there a little bit to make it more flexible for lots of different kinds. But as Everborn has actually said before, if they were ever to make their own handheld, that would be so clutch, almost Nintendo Switch Mini type.
Yeah, definitely.
Something that's just for that purpose.
A dedicated,
should be so interesting. Yeah,
a dedicated device. Absolutely. I think a lot of us have called for that. And somebody, Mr. Joe in the Dark. Hey, Mr. Joe in the Dark.
Shout out to Joe in the Dark. Welcome.
Absolutely. I also watched you on these shows too, brother. He says we need a quick resume for xCloud.
Yes, we do. Yeah, yes, we do. That is the only thing that kind of ruins the game for me. I'm playing on one thing. I go to someplace else, and sometimes I have to restart the whole deal because it doesn't translate over. I do hear they're working on that. I think I heard Jason Ronald in an interview not too long ago saying they're playing with that idea of being able to take your cloud save, that quick resume save state, and just bring it everywhere. Oh, by the way, you're going to see a lot of bad playing of this game. And the reason why, and I have beaten this game, but the reason why you're going to see a lot of bad, somehow the controls don't translate well. It's really weird. The camera angles are weird. You'll literally fall to your doom multiple times, and it's 30 frames, and it's just hard. I'm being snobby right now. Forgive me, but it's true. Play the Uncharted collection on a new school TV. I have a LG CX. I know you got that C1.
Oh yes.
Play this 30 frames on that, and you're just oh my god, this is terrible. I fell so many times. It's just weird, man.
I have to try it out again. I haven't played it in a while.
And during the time we were playing this, it was great and it was awesome. And now you play and you're just like, yo, this is just not it.
That's something, because it really makes you think about like all these old games. Like, I love old stuff. Like, people like, oh, I don't play old games. I love all games. I don't care if they're old or whatever, if I can actually enjoy them. But the controls and the camera issues that these old games have, when we're so used to what we have now, and the frames, like you said, 30 frames is hard to go back to. Especially when you got the C10 and the C1. Like,
it makes it feel like you're playing a slideshow for some reason. Your eyes get used to a certain frame. And I played this and you couldn't switch it to 60. And I'm just like, oh man, this is just, and the control, it was bad. It was bad. I'm sorry. Forgive me for all of those who are still playing 30. I'm not trying to snob it. I'm not doing that.
No elitist. No elitist.
Not at all. Not at all. So yeah, I've been playing a bit of this just to try to get my feet wet. It's reminded me that we definitely need an update for this thing. They need to like go into the Uncharted collection and like add more to it for real. They really do, because like and what I mean by add more to it, meaning unlock the frame rate. Do a little this and that to it, bring it to the modern standards. Because I love the game. I still do. I played it. When you play this game, you remember why PlayStation gets the accolades they do, because they deserve it. This is just absolutely an amazing game. For some reason, if they don't touch it up, it just feels so old and antiquated.
And that's a positive for Xbox right there, that a lot of people don't give them credit for it too. A lot of these remasters that Sony are giving us, they don't really touch up. Like, I mean, for one, they're going to charge you. With Microsoft, they'll just give you the free remaster, basically an update. With the frames per second unlocked or things like that, or improvements in visuals and resolution. Sony definitely needs to step it up in the quality department when it comes to that type of thing.
Indeed. Now let me give you a little bit of tech talk, just a little bit. The reason why the Sony's solution is a little different from Xbox's solution is because Xbox uses virtual machines. I don't know if you're familiar with that. VMs that basically, like, inside the Xbox, it thinks it's playing on real hardware, but it's playing on a virtual file. So they can tweak the back end of the virtual file, give it virtual RAM, give it virtual CPU. So then it makes the game inside think it has more resources than it actually does, and performs better.
I've heard of it. I just never knew the intricacies of how it worked.
Oh yeah. I work with VMs all day. It's basically my bread and butter. So that's why when I saw they were doing that, I was super excited, because they're literally working. There's like 3-4 different operating systems inside that console. Depending on if you're playing 360 games, when you see that 360 logo come up, that's a whole computer, a 360 computer inside your console that's been tweaked to perform as if it was a 360. And the reason why I can get 60 frames and 4K and all that is because they can go into like the virtual GPU and give it a little bit more buff. That's why they can do that without any of the developers touching it, because they're not actually touching the code. They're touching the virtual hardware so that it performs better. It's so cool, the tech they've used, and that future-proofs it. So in many years from now, when you have the Xbox, whatever it is, right, they can still add that same virtual machine, and all your games will either play the same or even better, because they can keep tweaking that hardware in the back end.
That's amazing.
Whereas on PlayStation side, they have to literally go into the code and tweak the code, right? Because they have a different method.
So that's why it's so much tougher and more difficult.
That's why they charge you. That's why that $10. That's why that a-hole tax, as everyone has put it. That's why they charge you that.
Yeah,
because they literally have to go in and do something every time.
Yeah. Something is crazy, because when you go back, maybe, what was it? I think at the launch of the Xbox One, they were like, "Oh, we can't have backward compatible games and things like that." Remember all that?
Yep.
To go from that to where fans complained, I was one of them, about not having BC, to where we're at now. That's crazy to me.
It's special, right? And whoever, I think it was Phil Spencer who greenlit that whole BC initiative.
Yep.
That was the beginning of all of this.
It was. I remember that.
When they greenlit that, okay, we're gonna go, because basically what that required is they made an emulator of their console. Like, people out there making emulators and trying to play old games, they built an emulator of their old console and then added it to the future consoles.
That's crazy.
And doing that always future proofs you, right? Because then you could just keep throwing those virtual machines into whatever new machine you make, tweak the hardware. Oh, it's got way more RAM now. Let's give it more RAM. Then all of a sudden the machine starts responding faster without touching the inside of the actual game. It's just mind-blowing tech. I can geek out about it all day. That's what
I can see it. I can see the smile on your face when you're talking.
Yeah, man, it's cool. I am waiting for them to like write that white paper, that report that tells you what exactly all the details, because they hide a lot of that stuff, their proprietary systems and all that. But
yeah,
it is very cool, next level stuff that they've been doing. And I think slowly but surely PlayStation's also starting to get there as far as setting future infrastructure,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's another reason why those game saves, they always kind of show up. I think I posted a tweet a couple of days ago while I was playing this game, in fact, where my 2015 save when I was playing this game when it first came out was just there, and I'm just like stunned. You never see that on PlayStation. You have to go and download it manually or whatever. This time it was just there. I was like, yo, they're getting there. This is great.
Progress.
Yes, and it helps us all. I think it's absolutely awesome. So yes, we've been playing a bunch of these old games, and as we go through, I will feature some of the old games. Actually, you know what? Let me switch it up right now and feature another old game that we were talking about. And we were talking about this last week for all those who happened to catch it. We were talking about this game. Now, I won't even say what it is, and I want people in the chat to see if they remember this game, because to me, this is one. And of course, as soon as I say that, the title will probably pop up. To me, this is probably one of the best representations of a Metroidvania since Metroid and Castlevania. It's one of my favorite games to go to, and I play it at least once a year. I'll put you guys out of your misery. It is Shadow Complex. If you have not played this, you need to do so. It is absolutely fantastic. After our conversation last week, I decided to put it on and play it for a little bit. So I'll show a little bit of that while we chat. So it's been so much fun just kind of getting in there, playing old games, reminding myself of all the stuff that I enjoy, while of course new games come out here and vie for my attention.
Yeah,
so
that's the crazy part about it. So many new games keep taking us away from the old ones, letting me get back.
So between Scarlet Nexus, is that mainly what you've been playing this week?
Yeah, Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise. I need to get to Tales of Arise. It's just I want to finish Scarlet Nexus first. It seems that they're each huge games that need their own time.
They are. That's kind of the problem, because JRPGs or any JRPG worth its salt really it's going to take a lot of time. The Yakuza series is like I kind of related to that. Man, that takes so much time. Like unless you just play straight through the campaign of it, fine. But if you actually try to do the side missions and things of that nature, it's going to take you a long while. But how
much of the Yakuza series have you played?
Up to Yakuza 3. So I played Yakuza 0, Kiwami 2, and now 3 I'm playing right now. And I have to get back and finish that.
I started Like a Dragon, and I would say I'm about 100 hours in. And then Scarlet Nexus came and took me away from Like a Dragon, but I'm going back. I am going back. My quick resume save is somewhere in the cloud. I will reclaim it at some point.
And with Shadow Complex here, this is one of my shames right here. I played it.
We're already starting the shame list. So this is on yours. Okay.
This is one of them. Unfortunately, I played it right, but I haven't played like fully through. So I maybe like what you have here, this gear and all that. I'm like, I didn't see any of this. I'm like, this is
Actually, I kind of want to go back, because this was mid-save many years ago, and then I replayed it last week. And if you don't start from jump and then continue, you lose a lot of the thread. You forget where the secrets are. So I'm like stuck in the loop, So I may have to just go back, because I play it once a year. It is very good. When you get to the end, it's like you are super suit Iron Man walking around murking fools left and right. It's great. So I may have to start from jump,
I think that's what it is. And that's kind of the issue, right? Like I remember someone talking about it on, I think, one of these sites, and they were like, I wish there was some type of I guess, I don't want to say device, but some type of incentive they put into the games where it can kind of refresh you to get back into you.
Everborn said that. I think that was last week. I think he said that because Microsoft is unique in that they're quick resuming and they're getting people to get back into old games and picking between a lot of them. They themselves specifically have more of a vested interest in reacclimating people to games, because you more often than not will be retapping into old games on Game Pass, right? So they should they should make a more of an effort to be like, all right, what happened the last time you were playing? This is how the controls work. This is where the story left off. You know, there should be more of a system in place that lets you recap stuff. Yeah. I think he's absolutely right on that.
Yeah,
see, there you go. More bad gameplay.
I see. Well, at least you're not dying, but you know,
I'm not dying. Not yet.
But that's the thing. Yeah, you come back to these games and you're like, okay, wait a minute. You have to get your bearings. It takes a minute. And something like the Metroidvania type games, oh, forget it. You're right. You basically have to start over. And that's probably what I'll do once I play it. But at the very least, I'm not that far into it. Well, maybe about 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours into it, 6. You, like right here, it looks like about 20, maybe 15.
Something like that, yeah. But see, I don't remember what I did to turn off this electrical. Or actually, I think I got more of a, my suit got more of a dash, and I forgot that I had that. So now I go through here and I die over and over again, going, oh yeah, this is a bad dash.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to give a shout out to my nephew who jumped into the chat.
Yes, sir.
Tyrese Washington right there.
Ah, Tyrese, welcome, good sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And your man is represented quite well, so don't worry about it. He's good.
What's up, nephew? And Pyro asks, he points out, I can't get into Yakuza 3 Remastered. He says I've been spoiled by Zero and Kiwami, and I agree 100%. And that's what made it a little tougher, because Kiwami and all those are so great looking, and then when you get to 3, it's like this isn't those. It kind of it's a little tough. I agree with that.
See, and that's why I started Like a Dragon, because everybody said that's a good jumping on point. But then I got to go, okay, after that, where do I go? Because I know some of them are easier to jump into than others. Some of them, and I have been trying my best to stick with the original dubbed, subbed, not dubbed. But sometimes that's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, my nephew, he's big on the whole Japanese sub thing, by the way. So I don't think he will play any of those games with the English voice actors on it. He'd probably like, get this trash away from me. He has his very elitist, like this boy is funny, right? I remember we took him for his graduation from grammar school to Benihana's, and he was just swarping down. He could read Japanese lettering, and I'm like, stop. And he's like, I said, what does this mean? Oh, that means welcome. I'm like, you just made that up. So that's how big into it he is.
You might be surprised, man. Some people use these games to really take it there. I know people who like. Okay, so I'll tell you. Based on TV, I learned to speak Dutch. My wife is Dutch. I used to.
I remember you. I saw you
watching
on
TV. Yes, watching TV. You know, it takes commitment. But some people can take a video game and really take it there. You know, you're surprised. You know.
Oh, don't give them any encouragement. Hey
man, why not? You know, I appreciate it, bro.
It's funny though, because next year we're talking about trying to go to Japan. So
awesome, that's great.
You know, maybe we'll do that. So
yeah, I hear Akihabara needs all the tourists it can get. They're because of COVID, all their tourism has dried up, and it's making it bad for them. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I saw an article about it today. I was like, whoa, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah. You know? You're talking about that major store out there for gaming, right?
Yeah, the major street. Like actually, you playing Yakuza, they've recreated that street in Yakuza many times.
Yeah. Oh, if I see that street, I'm probably gonna geek out.
And funny enough, I know people who played crazy amounts of Yakuza, and then they go there and they go, yo, this is exactly the same. I have the map in my head. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna be out there like, oh look, hey, can you take a picture with me? They're looking at me like, oh, police. This big black man is harassing me. But yeah, yeah, man. But no, this is one of them I have to absolutely get through and finish up. And I guess this right here is kind of productive, because this right here kind of, for all of us, even those in chat who are pretending like they're not frauds, that this is a wake-up call for us to get back and finish those games. We don't have to just move forward. We can move laterally and backward and all those things too.
Yep. And actually, you know what? He's not here to represent it, but this actually speaks to a lot of what everyone says usually. You know, we should not be out there playing these games when they're brand new, because if you're playing Halo Infinite, and let's be real, we all gonna be playing Halo Infinite, you're gonna miss co-op, right? For the first couple of months. How about you go clean up the backlog, and by the time you get to Halo and any of these other games, they've probably cleaned that up already, and they probably have something new for you. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that we're gonna do that, but we should.
Good point. I'll probably be too stuck on the multiplayer, but you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You know. So yes, let's see here. So while we're doing this, I guess we can move on and start talking about the news stories of the day. Mr. Everborn is still stuck in traffic, but he promises he'll join us as soon as he possibly can. So let's switch it up a little bit and just have some light conversation about the news stories of the day. I hope you don't hear my son losing his mind in the background.
We hear it, but we'll just chalk that. That's the game. That's the game sounds.
There you go. See, yeah. See, my son's losing his mind in the background. My bad. You know, sometimes he does that. You know.
Hey, life. It's all good.
It is what it is. All right. So like, and I just thought about some of these things that people have been talking about as of late, and thought we would lightly bring it up. If there's anything I forgot or anything the chat wants to talk about as well, we can definitely touch on that as well. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the storage situation for the Series X and Series X, right? And all that it brought about, right? So real quick, for those that aren't aware, for a long time now, I think the price of the Series X or S expansion storage was what was it? $210 for a terabyte, right?
Mm-hmm.
$210 for a terabyte. I should say on Black Friday, I got a good deal at Best Buy for $180. So they are out there if you want to buy that storage at a discounted rate. But on average, MSRP was $210, right? Mm-hmm. And when this happened, people were all going crazy talking about, yo, this is too expensive. My first thought was, stop calling it a memory card. That is why you're screwed. You're calling it a memory card, and because of that, it harkens back to the old PlayStation days where they were charging you for that proprietary weirdness and all of that. Yeah. Is it proprietary? Yes, it is, but it's proprietary for a specific reason, right? And actually, we've been meaning to have that conversation for a while now. People keep. I think there were some talking about, Xbox is selling you like old tech and charging you new prices. Not true. It is new tech. It's just new tech that's been changed for a purpose. Okay. So real quick, the latest and greatest Gen 4 M.2s, right? Those are the SSDs that we use, and you can use them on PC. Obviously, the PlayStation 5 now lets you put them in there as well. Mm-hmm. They have different tracks. They have the Gen 3s had 2 tracks, and there's a speed max and a speed minimum of them, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Gen 4s added 2 more tracks to make the speed exponentially faster. That's where you get your speeds. And of course, the PS5 even added software and tweaked it even beyond what the Gen 4s can do. So that's why theirs is screaming speeds, right? But in order to continue those speeds going, right, they on their track put literally the M.2 so you can plug it in just like you would any PC, right? But on the Xbox side, they split those 2 tracks. So think of each 2 track as a gen. So Gen 3 will give you 2 tracks of very high speed, right? Gen 4 doubles that. Instead of doubling it and giving you that throughput that PlayStation decided, they decided to put 2 of the tracks on the internal and 2 of the tracks leading to the external. So that way, instead of forcing you to open your hardware and plugging it in, they can let you plug in an external and promise you the same speeds that you get from your internal. That's what they did.
Let me ask you, brother, which do you prefer? Which makes the most sense?
There are pluses and minuses to both. That's the realness of it. There are pluses and minuses to both. And we can get into that, right? Yeah. I would say the plus is this is how you add storage. Click, you're done.
Yeah,
right. That's the plus, right? Yeah. And people clown it and all that, but there is a definite benefit to being able to just plug that thing in, not even have to, because obviously if you're buying a console, you're not the type of person that wants to use like a static bag and have a thing connected to your arm so that your static discharge couldn't possibly roast the drive, because that's all possible. You're on a shag carpet. You touch the wrong thing, it could roast that drive that you just bought. It's real. It's happened to me. I've actually roasted a motherboard before, doing that exact same thing. Yes.
That's scary right there, man.
It's not a thing that happens like, 100% you're going to roast yourself. No, but it's a possibility. It's happened to me before.
See, I'm the superstitious type of black man. So I see that thing, but I'm like,
Exactly. So that's the plus of it, right? The minus though is, and those who have pointed that out are also correct, because of that, right? Right now, You have your standard M.2, which, let's be real, the 2 terabyte M.2 that you can find at Best Buy is $399 MSRP. No, $420 MSRP for let's say one of the average ones. That'd be like the Samsung variant of, that's the one that could fit in the PS5, right? It's $420. But since it's a drive that can be run on PlayStation, that can be run on any of your on any of the PCs, there's more demand for it. There's many of them creating it, and as such, it goes down. So right now, if you go to Amazon, you'll find it for $325 or something like that on sale, right? That's the plus of having your standard drive, because if you have a standard drive, there's more of a chance that it goes on sale, competition, all of that. Whereas on the Xbox side, they'll have to produce more, hope that people want more of it, and because of that demand, it brings prices down. And that's less likely to happen than your standard drive, right? Yeah, so that also means, I'm sorry, go ahead.
When do you think the prices will drop on these things? Because I know we're headed to the discussion of the new 2 terabyte drive. I know that's what you're headed to.
Yep.
When will the prices drop, in your opinion?
Honestly, when it comes to the Xbox One, specifically the Xbox solution, I think there might be some supplementing that has to happen there in the short term. So what I mean by that is, there you go, more bad gameplay. What I mean by that is, like on the PlayStation side, they don't have to worry about it, right? Because and of course the Dutch is in here. Thank you so much for blessing us, good sir. He brings up a good point. You can unplug it, plug it into different series, and it plays just between consoles as well. Very cool. Yes, and shout out to Beast Mode 10, who's always also here dropping very good intelligence bombs on us. November 2021 is when that exclusivity deal ends. Doesn't mean that they won't continue making it, but then you'll possibly see Samsung jump in. You'll possibly see all these other vendors that make hard drives jump in. Okay. But what I'm saying is, in the short term, I suspect that Microsoft will have to be like, we'll supplement some of it. We'll on our site, we'll give you a deal on this and that, and they'll have to take a bath on a little bit of that stuff, because unlike the standard M2, which is driven by the market because anybody can just buy it, right? These will have to be driven by Xbox consumers, right? Because no other hard drives, no other vendors, or no other devices use this thing. So it has to come from specifically the amount of people that buy that hardware that want more storage. And if that amount doesn't increase exponentially, then they have no reason to discount it, right?
Yeah.
So that's where your pluses and minuses lie.
Again, it's kind of like any technology, right? The more they buy, typically the price goes down eventually. Slow-mo offered us a perfect solution for this issue. He says, delete your games when you aren't playing them.
He's on that delete your games mission for sure. And I agree with him. But the difficulty there, right? Which let's be honest, I was gonna say the difficulty there is because of quick resume, you got a lot of people playing multiple games, but the solution there is a bunch of people have started you have started seeing if you get an invite to play a game on Xbox and you don't have that game, as soon as you accept the invite, it goes straight to the cloud and streams it for you and continues the game. So that might be a good solution, right? But they haven't done the quick resume solution just yet. But yes, delete your games. I am a very bad culprit. I have an external drive that I think it's like 8 terabyte external, plus I have an expansion, plus the internal, and it's all like 60% full. I have ridiculous amounts. Forgive me. It is what it is. We are hoarders and digital collectors. That's what we do these days.
I'm a digital hoarder, no question.
No question. I will admit that it's terrible, but it's better than being an actual physical hoarder.
Yeah, trust me. I know. My uncle was one of them, and I just
that's unfortunate.
I'm like, do you really need this? It's like not crazy like you see on a TV show, but it's definitely concerning. But as far as the digital, I was just looking, man. It's crazy. I have like 700 and some odd digital games.
Yep,
that's insane. And I can guarantee you, a good 400 of them I have not touched.
I've not played. There you go. Yeah, it's always like, this is on sale. It's a good deal. I'll get to it. Why not? What do you call it? Cyberpunk. Okay, bought it on Xbox. Why? Because hey, I played most of my games I play on Xbox. I will most likely play that on Xbox. And for the record, in a vacuum, that game is brilliant. Forget all the drama that surrounds it, and the drama is righteous. I understand, but the game itself is brilliant. I'm hoping that they fix it soon so people can recognize that. Bought it on Xbox, right?
I'm with you.
Then
100%.
I'm like, Yeah, then I got a good deal of it on PC. I'm like, yo, the mod scene's gonna be crazy. So now I have it on PC. And then a few months later, oh, the steel case version is $10 on PS5. All right, now I have it on PS5 as well. Look at this. This is what happens, man. It's terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
People always talk about Cyberpunk. Oh, disappointed. It was disappointing, right? It had issues, right? And they should have waited. They should have delayed. I put in 459 hours into that game.
There you go. You know what I'm talking about. That game is magnificent.
It is.
And you know, screw the story. I love that story. Don't even play the story. Just drive around, see people, see what's going on. Oh, it's amazing. And of course, if you're on PC, there are hacks you can do, and you can be Superman in that world and like fly to the highest tower. Have you seen it? It's amazing. You can jump to the highest height. Oh, it's so awesome. Just to poke around and see where their world ends. You know, because sometimes you hit the brink, but you can just walk around and you have those talons out, right? The little claws, and just be Wolverine, Superman, Liquid Death from above all day. Like that's what I'm doing. In that game.
I missed that sword earlier in the game once. I forgot what the
katana.
And I was like, I wanted to get that. They're like, it's the best katana in the game. And I look online and it's like, oh, you can get it. I run up the building. I'm like, what? And I look and find it, and I run up the building and get into there and get it. I'm like, that's funny. But I love stuff like
really
that.
Cool, interesting stuff in it. And supposedly they're still doing a lot of tweaking. They're in the future. Hopefully, this report is to be believed. They're changing the way that the costumes look. You can now, because that was a problem with it, right? The best stat boost costumes makes you look like a clown, right? You got this hat on with this thing on, but now they're gonna try to mix and match so it looks more like a style rather than just putting the best things on for stats, right? They're changing a bunch of this stuff up to kind of optimize, just like they did with the Witcher. You know, that's actually why I confidently bought that game, even if it's busted. So was the Witcher at first, and they kept working on it. That game has been out for how many years, and they're still updating it to this day. The Witcher 3.
Good point. Really good point.
You know, so I'm definitely like, even beyond the drama, I'm still standing with CDPR that they will do this game right eventually. You know, it'll come righteous.
100% on your side there.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as the hard drive is concerned, I think people have been complaining for nothing. Yes, it is true that they are expensive, but that's technology, baby. Like that's how it has been for a long time, especially considering that this is like tip of the spear, latest technology available, and this is Gen 4. Gen 5 is right around the corner. Like right around the corner. And when Gen 4 is now ubiquitous on console, that means motherboards on PCs with Gen 5 will be coming out very soon, you know.
Nice.
So, and I bet you the same 1 terabyte will probably cost you like almost $1,000. I kid you not. Yes, that's how it's gonna be, right? And then eventually people get into it, it becomes ubiquitous, people start using it, and then it starts coming down. Right now, you want a Gen 3 terabyte, you can probably find one for under $100 if you're lucky. Gen 3 though, right? And to those who don't know, you'll go, yeah, it's 1 terabyte. What are you talking about? It's the same thing. It is slow, and your PS5 won't accept it because it's too slow.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Even though it's the same storage, same stuff, but the tech does not allow for that fast throughput. So if you plug it in and it does a test, it'll go, nah, man, you got to take this thing out and put something faster.
Like, this is not going to cut it, player.
That's
right.
right.
Have to take that on out of there.
Yeah. So yeah, like, what kind of systems do you have right now? So the folks know. Are you a PS5 player, PS4, Xbox? I know you play Xbox. What are your mainstays these days?
My gaming credentials. Let me break it down to you all. No, I'm joking. But I have the Series X right now. I had the Xbox One X, and I gave that to my sister. So now she's gaming on it. I'm proud of that. And
cool.
I have the PS4. I was thinking about getting a Switch. I never got it yet. I'm still contemplating. If they had came out with that OLED and nice like upgrade to the internals, I probably would have got it. But it seems like it's not as much ado about nothing. And I also have my gaming PC, though I don't have a 3080 and all these other things. I don't have all of that. I think mine is.
I was lucky.
Yeah,
it's hard to find these days. I was rocking a 1080 Ti for like 7 years or something like that. I had it for a long time, and it was liquid cooled. It came all liquid cooled based off of the company. I didn't do it myself. Yeah. But like, what was crazy is after using it for like almost 7 years, and then I sold it. I bought it for like $600, and then sold it for $650.
Wow!
7 years later.
Whoa.
I'm like, I guess I might as well get a 3080 then. Like, that's what happened. I wasn't expecting to. I was lucky, yeah, for real. I used it, but obviously I didn't tell anybody I'd done it. It was still good, ready to go, right?
But you
And then somebody
appreciate it.
bought my 1080 Ti
Yeah.
liquid cooled for the same price I bought it for. So I'm like,
Yeah.
upgrade, you know. So
Yeah,
that's how I was able to get it.
Yours appreciated in value. But you know, I have
Yes.
I also had mine pre-built too, pre-made, and
Okay.
it's the Skytech 2,
Okay.
I think it's called. So it's right now I got it for, I think at the time about close to 800. Right now it's going on Amazon and such for like 1,000 and like 100. So
there you go. So yours is appreciating in value as well.
Absolutely.
And shout out to the homie Gaming Forte saying Switch OLED is fire. Don't let the man talk like that.
You know what's crazy about that?
Go ahead.
I don't want to talk about the old hard mateys pirate game, but this gaming PC I have, it allows for adventuring, if you will. So that's also I think that's part of why I didn't need to do that yet. Because some of those games I can absolutely play without that.
And actually, it's interesting you bring that up. What didn't Kotaku kind of spill the beans on like Metroid Dread like a couple of weeks ago?
yeah, they did. And I've been thinking, I don't know, should I start dreading it up over here? But I'm like, no, don't do it. I have too much on my Xbox and everything else to get through.
No, I agree. The Switch OLED is fire. I love the screen, the inky blacks and all of that. They just need to put a better piece of hardware in there, man. Come on, I'm sorry. You gotta put a bit. Come on. I have an NVIDIA Shield. My kids use it. They love it. You know, it's basically NVIDIA. When they first made that Tegra chip, they put it in their own thing. In certain Asian territories, you can actually even play officially Nintendo games from it because it's the same chip as they gave to Nintendo to put in the Switch. It's exactly the same, right?
Nice.
And actually, the difference between the Shield and the Switch is the Switch has to be toggled down processor wise because otherwise the battery will explode, right? Because it'll be too quick dead on battery. And the Shield literally sits in your front of your living room plugged in, so it never has to be throttled. So this thing that was built in 2015 is stronger than a brand new Nintendo Switch you can buy, which is like, come on, guys, we're beyond that. Put some hardware in there. I know you guys are beyond hardware. Nintendo's great with their gameplay and all of that. I get it, no doubt. But come on, guys, don't charge me $350 for a chip that's been out since 2015. Like, get out of here.
And Nintendo, I think it has to be said. I know I don't want to slander here.
Hey, go for it. This is the slanderous show. Do it. Do you, man? Go ahead.
I don't want our good brother Forte to be upset, but Nintendo has some really anti-consumer practices when it comes to their pricing and things of that nature. I think needs
they
to
are
be
business,
more.
baby. It's all business. You know, they'll get away with what you let them get away with. That's just how it goes.
That is true. And Nintendo fans are all too willing to abuse me. I don't know.
I like that Nintendo Switch voice. Yes, abuse me.
Abuse me, Nintendo overlord. I don't know why they have a geeky voice like that, but that's
you know. But those who love Nintendo just will not stop it. It is what it is. Yeah. And I am a culprit. I will freely admit I'm a culprit. I've been playing that. I've been playing that Metroid Dread, and I've been fighting the feeling not to throw my damn Switch because I love that game. But sometimes, man, I don't know. Maybe that'll lead us into backlog talk because I don't have that much experience with Metroid as that. I've played a lot of the Metroid games, but I'm not like a Metroid stan. So that whole concept of see this wall, it looks like every other wall, but you could destroy it, but you don't know you can destroy it until you try. Yeah. That to me is bad game design.
Yeah, I if they put some discoloration or something like that, you can be like, okay. Yeah, something like that.
That to me, bad game design. Like, see this game right here? This is Metroidvania. All these games have learned from it, right? You don't know you can get into certain things. But if you turn on the flashlight, then all of a sudden it glows a certain color to let you know, oh, this works with bombs. This works with missiles, right? If you see one that's red, you know that's a missile one and you don't have a missile yet, so you can't get to it. That is game design, teaching you what you can do without actually showing it to you, right? Yeah. These dudes just be like, it's there. You don't know. Good luck finding it. It's ridiculous. I said it last week. It's almost like it's from a time when they knew that games weren't out there like that, so they were just gonna let you suffer through it for 6 months because they know you ain't gonna get another game anyway. And there he is. He's in the spot. The Everborn Saga. Welcome, good sir. How you doing, man?
The Duke.
What's happening? How are
What's
you?
up, brother?
Fine.
We just chopping it up, enjoying ourselves. How you doing, sir?
Morning. I have had a morning. I am having a day. I had to take my mom to get her second vaccine shot.
Shout out to Everborn Mom.
And it took me long enough to convince her to get the first one because she had it already, and she's like, "I got it, so I'm invincible." So we finally got it, and that's the second one, and now our national nightmare is over. Well, the national one's still going on, but my household nightmare is over.
Yeah, it's postponed. Booster's coming up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I'm not looking forward to that.
Having that conversation. Yes, I know.
So, and then I had to take my girls to see their how do you call this? Your uncle-in-law. I think that's what my sister's husband.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's here from Germany.
Oh, nice.
And he's taking them for a day on the town in Manhattan. So they're going to go to the MoMA and all those other things. Cool. But I had to meet him at Bryant Park. And if you're driving from the West Side Highway on 42nd Street to get to...
You're on traffic for a long ass time.
Yes.
Indeed.
So that's where it takes 10 minutes to go one block. But that's...
I remember driving into New York. Yes. I chose not to. I parked my car and there's Ubered everywhere.
And
it was even faster.
This is a Saturday. So...
imagine during the week.
Yeah, so that's my morning, and then I have to pick them up later and then run errands after this. So
busy man.
It's one of those Saturdays.
Indeed. So you catch us right when we're having the chat about the weekly stuff. We started talking hard drives. I know you had some conversation you wanted to have about the hard drive. So how about you continue there? What do you think?
So I think that I heard the question asked about when we think the prices will go down.
Yep.
So here's the thing, right? You do pay a little bit more, and this is not like to excuse anything because I think both approaches have their pros and cons.
They have their pros and cons. Yep, indeed.
I think that Xbox chose a more casual approach, meaning
friendly.
Right, casual friendly approach, which is we're using this tech. There's no way around it. We're not, and you like you said, a memory card is the wrong word, right? Even though it is a memory card, but it's not.
It's a storage
card.
It
is right. It is a hard drive, right? And so, the ease of use, and I know this because I have 2 of the cards and I have 3 Xboxes in the house. You can literally hot swap these things while the thing is on.
Yep.
Right?
Put them in somewhere else.
Not everyone is going to want to. First of all, not everyone needs that because you can, as Slow-Mo has told us, delete your
games, people.
Right? but if not everyone is going to want to install an M.2, like with the screwdriver.
Not everybody's comfortable. Not everybody's comfortable doing that.
And we can pretend that is not the case, but it is not unreasonable to say that not everybody's trying to do that, right?
Facts.
Right? Just because you can do it or I can do it doesn't mean everyone can do it. Now, right. and then, there's also the trouble of because Sony is not certifying, like they're recommending, you don't know which one is good and which one isn't.
Right. That's right.
And you can do that research on your own. I'm not saying you can't.
And for us on the Twitter streets who conform and listen and keep our ears, Cerny says this one's good. This person, normal everyday Joe who doesn't do that, how do you get that?
Don't know Mark Cerny exists?
That's right. How do you get that? Hey, this is good. This may not be good. You're at the whim of the Best Buy employee or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You mean the guy who tells you if it's not on the shelf, we ain't got it?
We ain't got it. It doesn't exist. That's right. That's right.
That's a good point.
All right. So again, I just think that, and that's not like an excuse, but I do see the benefits of both. So for those who, are a little bit more I don't even want to say tech savvy, but you know what I mean. People who can install those
people
things.
Who are more comfortable. People who know the benefits of an anti-static bag. This is for you.
Right. So for those people, I think having that that open approach that Sony chose is cool. But this approach, the approach is I think it's a better approach for more people, if that makes any sense. But the problem is you have to pay for that.
You pay a little more for it.
Right. I think you're always going to pay a little bit more.
A little more. Yes.
Even when it's not limited to Seagate.
You will always find more deals on the standard M.2 than you will for this proprietary thing. Unless somehow, some way, Microsoft gets into a world where now TVs can use this weird storage thing, or unless they are able to make more devices use it and it become more like marketable that way, which is not going to happen. You will always, even if there's a deal, you will always end up paying a little bit more for this than you would.
I'll tell you what they could do, right? Because they want PC to utilize like direct storage and things like that.
Yeah, they're looking into that. Yes.
Is there a world where they talk with Intel and not Intel for the motherboards
and make this a proprietary?
No, not a proprietary
motherboards.
Thing. Just have it be like add it to motherboards so that it can be supported. And when you buy a PC, you can just have that slot there.
So I'll do you one better. They don't need to talk to motherboards. They make Surfaces. Make this accessible on a Surface machine.
No, you can't. It's too big.
Why not?
Surfaces.
What's too big?
The Surfaces are too thin for that.
No, I'm talking about the Surface laptops, not the Surface.
Yeah, the laptop. Pro. It's still. It's not. Yeah,
well, there you go.
They're very thin these days.
Yeah, these days they're thinner and thinner all the time. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
saw that laptop actually in the Best Buy as I was going for the LG C1. I'm like, this thing is small.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, they're absolutely amazing. So no, I hear you on that.
They can't even fit regular USBs like USB A.
True. Yeah. Now they're going C just to keep it thinner. Right. I get you. So as long as it's only for Xboxes, you'll get a deal. Like I said, I found one for $180, and if you look around, you'll find one, right? But you will always will pay a little bit more for this one.
Did you see what Neo Mental posted?
What did he post?
In the chat?
Can be using cameras. Yeah. Well, it's not that the storage slot can be using cameras. It's that the tech that they use, the I forget the name of the SD. It's an SD format, and cameras use that same SD format. But the slot is proprietary. The tech in it can be. And that's why, if you recall, a couple weeks ago, I posted a thing where some a Chinese company had literally taken that slot that cameras use and made an adapter so you can put a standard M.2 in it and put that into the console. Now, Of course, it's not really doable because you need some special software and firmware updates and all of that. So it's not something that we can expect. There will be a world where we put our own M2 in it, but there is some wiggle room there where people could potentially, use that exact slot that Neo's talking about to create their own adapters to then, screw this Seagate stuff. We'll use our own. There's a world that's possible for sure. Yes. Yeah. So okay. So. I think we're all in agreement that this is it's good. It's going to be a bit expensive, but long story short, at the end of the day, you got to deal with it. Go ahead.
One other thing I want to say is for 2 terabytes, like even if you can get an M.2 on sale for $350, that is not impossibly lower. Right, but even if it's not, it's $50 cheaper, but we're still talking about $350 for memory. Right.
Think about this. Your Samsung Pro, which tends to be the most popular 4th gen. There are others, right? The Samsung Pro 4th gen 2 terabyte drive retails MSRP for $420, right? The 2 terabyte Seagate one, the proprietary drive, retails for $400. So even in that, when we're talking there, right, the proprietary drive MSRP is cheaper than the standard M.2. Now, where the roles reverse is because it's a standard M.2, it can be on sale for $350 now because everybody can buy it.
Now, Starchasm says something that's very interesting, which is there's no reason for the Series X not to have USB-C.
It does have USB-C. It's just like, so the problem with USB-C, right? And that's a problem with USB-C. Okay, that is a standard problem with USB-C. That slot is a misnomer. There are so many different underlining technologies that make up that USB-C. Is it Thunderbolt? Is it not Thunderbolt? Is it A or is it B? That slot doesn't just automatically mean doesn't mean USB-C, because if you look at the technology, the actual protocol behind it that considers it USB-C, the Series X and the S have that. They do. It's just that they use the older plug while still giving you the throughput.
It's the USB-C
connector
port or whatever. Yes, right.
The port they chose to go
with an
older port,
but they're not using Thunderbolt 3 like how the Surface, the new Surface Pro 8 is.
No, yeah, like they are using the same tech that PS5 is using. They're using the same thing, except PS5 went all the way and made the slot also USB-C, whereas Xbox literally made the slot standard USB-A, and they chose to do that because the idea was a lot more people have USB-A ports like lying around to charge their stuff. Yeah, so why make it USB-C and force people to have to upgrade?
I see Mag in the building.
Ah, yes.
What's up, man?
Welcome, good sir. Welcome, good sir. It's good to have you here.
So yes. I don't know what you had to talk about next, but there's one thing I wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah, bring it up, man. Bring it up.
It will be full circle. So because I am I suffer from early adopter syndrome, and I am a technology whore. Right?
You are one of the beta boys. Right. TM to the ILP.
Easy. So I have this thing, right? And this is the daily driver. By the way, Indeed. I don't use cases on any phone that I have, right?
Oh, and real quick, my son literally dropped my phone yesterday and shattered the entire thing. Oh. So I'm in the market now. I have no choice but to be as
So you only have one child now, is what you're saying.
Reluctantly, I still have two, but we
will remember him fondly.
You know, somebody's gonna clip that, and like 15 years from now, it's like, Dad. No, okay, so
that's how we lost one.
Right now, I got this thing.
Yes.
Right.
Beta boys.
Right. So, and I had the first one, right?
Yes, you
did. And it had a bunch of hardware issues, like it didn't have a respectable rear camera, or it didn't have a rear camera at all. You had to use the selfie camera as the whatever. And there were just a bunch of other hardware issues that this solved all of them.
Yep.
But one of the reasons I didn't stick through the first Duo, why I didn't stick with my change to Android, is because my entire family uses an iPhone.
Oh, they got you, right? Just like me.
I ruined so many group chats
with the green bubble.
Right. And they would all shun me, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" It had nothing to do with I had an Android phone. My phone was more expensive than all of theirs. It was like,
probably
what
more
are you
quality.
Doing?
More quality.
What are you doing? Ruin all of these. So how that ties in, and we can talk about that. That
as
thing
they
that
should. Neo says he's out here. Stand up. What they should fraud you.
Now, the thing is, I want to talk about ecosystem lock-in, right?
Yeah.
And how hard it is to change. Because even though I wanted to change with the last one, I couldn't stick it out because I was so invested in Apple's ecosystem. And I don't even listen. I'm a Windows Phone guy, right? Like I don't care about any of these. I don't care about
Palm Windows
iOS.
Phone guy.
I don't care about Android. So I lost my my passion and enthusiasm for mobile operating systems when Windows Phone died. So now I just look for ease of use, and that's why I got the iPhone. But now having the Apple Watch and the Apple TV and all the apps that I've bought over the years, being an Apple customer, is very hard to go and use another operating system that doesn't work like the one.
I'm just gonna be here posting things up, just laughing.
It is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle.
That's all I'm gonna do. Just keep me posting them up here. Y'all keep going. I just keep posting.
So it becomes increasingly difficult to change ecosystems. And the reason that we're talking about this, because this is not tech show, even though in a way it is, is how easy will it be for Microsoft with the Xbox to pull people away who are heavily invested into the PlayStation ecosystem? Because it's very difficult for me to switch from iOS to Android, even though I want to. I feel like my hands are tied.
You raised a good question, but I think they have thought of that. And this is where here's where I will say that, right? I think they have thought of that because much like how they do in many other respects, they go, "Oh, ours is better," right? And they fight and fight and fight, and then they lose. They lost that battle with the OS operating, the mobile operating system, which I for one I think is unfortunate. They lost that battle with what do you call it? Their streaming offering to Twitch, which again I think is unfortunate because in most respects, whenever they come to the market, they analyze what's existing and then offer something better, right? But the problem is by the time they're offering that thing that's better, the mind share has already gone to the competitor, and no matter how much better it is, people don't see it, and then you lose it. Shout out to the Zune HD.
I see you, player.
I just want to offer some quick Apple slander here.
Go ahead, real quick.
You know how they say PS5 better or Xbox better. Well, Galaxy, Android, S21 better.
Yep. I'll even say like find your Amazon, throwaway Android device, and I'll tell you a device. I'll show you a device that has like 120 hertz screens. I'll show you a device that has way more RAM. They throw more hardware, more quality hardware at the cheapest Android phone than you'll ever find in your flagship iOS device.
That's the funniest part. That's the funniest part because most of the innovations that Apple have, we already know
are regurgitated Android.
Exactly.
And I know what you're gonna say, Everborn, but that's the reason they throw more hardware at it is because
the operating system is so trash that they have to throw more.
Well, no. That's not why. It's because they don't want to just use core Android. If you use core Android, you're done. You're fine. Right? But everybody wants to diversify themselves. So like you're speaking of Galaxy, they throw a lot of bells and whistles visually at you. And what does that do? That eats up memory. So instead of having a 6 gig machine, you have to have a 12 gig machine in order for it to load the core Android plus all the shiny stuff that Samsung wants to show you as well.
By the way,
that's why it happens that way.
I lied to you. I told you the Duo 2 has 6 gigs of memory. It is 8 gigs.
There you go. So that's probably why. Again, they're trying to. That is the number one reason. And we'll get back to the game talk, but that's the number one reason why I always call this whole why I call Microsoft's Android offerings an experiment, because you will never control the whole stack. You are at the whim of Google. They can decide one day to release an update that blows your stuff away. And if you want to win this environment and you want to be the tip of the sphere and actually do something here, then you're going to have to own the whole stack, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to own the whole stack. And that's why Apple can offer you 4 gigs of RAM and it runs faster than a 6 gig competitor from Android, because they optimize their memory specifically for their OS and everything else. You have to optimize it for Google and then whatever you've added on top, which is always less optimized than the competitor. So but here I am with a shattered screen on my phone, and my company will only accept iOS devices to be able to get email on the go.
I didn't tell you this. I think that the Duo is the perfect device for work.
Right? I think so too. And that's why I'm so upset that they won't let me use my Android phone to do it. That's why I'm upset, because it's the perfect device for work. Yeah. My
company will only let me use an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Me too.
And so I was on the phone with IT
Lucius,
yesterday.
Let's bet. We'll do that.
Begging them, just please, managing this. Mm-hmm. I will be a more productive employee.
Yep.
I'm not asking you to give me a phone. I got it right here.
Please. So because you say this, I'll admit this right now, okay? One of the reasons why I give you Beta Boy slander is because I really want to buy one myself, but I cannot, because if I do, I won't be able to use it the way I want to, which is for work.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Uh-huh. Duke Everborn here is talking about this, and you said the reason that you can offer it slander is because you can't have it. So are you hating in the back?
Oh no! I'm not hating it. But
Okay.
the truth be told, the reason why I'm hating on this is because like Microsoft is all about enterprise. They know what these companies are looking for. So why would you give them? Why would you use Android, knowing that most of these companies won't allow it on the workflow?
Something. Let me explain. So, well, I want to. There's two things there.
Mm.
He's not hating. He is when he says these things. He's not really talking to me. He is trying to convince himself not to get it. So he's saying these things so he doesn't have to explain.
I call you a beta boy because I've been living that beta boy life myself.
So he won't have to explain a $1,500 purchase to his wife.
So like this is more envy. This is more envy right here.
No. See, if Microsoft were to release an OS that's supportable by enterprise, I would 100% be able to buy one because then it works for work. But I can't do that. So I'm just like, oh man. And then this man's beta boy testing. Come on now. Anyway, let us get back on point.
If Microsoft were to release an iPhone, you'd be in good hands.
No. I want them to release an OS that the enterprise accepts. That's what I want. Same hardware.
So all right.
Release an OS that the enterprise accepts so that it can be.
I think Slow-Mo can attest to this because I think this is part of his field in the IT world. And if I'm wrong, Slow-Mo, correct me. Right. But so a lot of the times the decisions of these companies that choose the devices that they will offer their employees, when they make a gut of what they would prefer. So the executive says, I want an iPhone. Make it work, figure it out. Right. Because this is what I want to use. And I don't want to carry around these things. And so
BYOD, bring your own device.
Right. Yep. And so the company will, and obviously there will be suggestions as to, well, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do this or that and that. But the executive says, I don't care. We're supporting iPhones. Like my company doesn't even do BYOD. Unless not for phones. For tablets, they do. But for phones, you have to have a company issued iPhone.
There you go. Yep.
Right. And because those executives kind of make that decision just because they want to carry around an iPhone, now the company has iPhones. So
that basically tends to be the situation.
But so I say all of that to say, until you have a ubiquitous consumer friendly product, even you're not going to get this to the business. They're not going to agree
100%.
to it.
Yep, 100%.
So
you're absolutely right.
And I say that to say they cannot make another Windows phone because the executives won't want it.
All right. So, and people keep asking what game is on screen. This is Shadow Complex. We talked about this last week. We were talking about it. This is and this will lead into our conversation. Let's get back on track because we're gonna miss our window here. So the hard drive situation. I think we've spoken about it to its hilt. And to quickly answer your question, Everborn, I think the reason why they are primed to get people not necessarily out of the PlayStation ecosystem is they're approaching things the way Nintendo approached things way back in the day. You don't have to have this as your main machine. You can have this as an additive to your existing devices. That's how they're approaching it. That's how they're bringing Game Pass into the market. That's how they're doing the Series S. This is just an add-on. How many ads have you seen from people around using their PlayStation controller to stream cloud gaming? They're trying to say something to you with that, right? You don't have to shun your existing hardware to come to ours. This can be additive because we bring all that. Exactly. Yeah, that's the undertones, right? But that's where I think that could help, bridge the gap a bit. So you add it to your existing, and then you realize how good it is, and then hopefully you start swaying. That's their
that is the purpose of the Series S more than the other things, which is we know just because of the nature of how last generation went and ecosystem that we will, by a lot of our potential customers, at least in the console space, we will be considered an ancillary thing until we prove ourselves. So
that's right.
I'm not going to pay. Not me. I'll do it because I'm.
We'll do it
because I bought this thing, right?
Yeah.
But we will. I have my PlayStation. I'll get a Series S as a secondary console, and then I like it, and now I got to go upgrade maybe next year to the Series X. right?
That's
so
right.
maybe that is because I have issues with the Series S, and I think Sony made a better move with the all digital $399.
That's what you say. I respectfully disagree.
And I know you disagree, and I'm not going to have that fight with you today. And the reason I believe that is because I think by the time the casuals get on board to the next generation, they will be playing in the cloud. But anyway. And cloud will be good enough. Not good enough for us, but good enough for
good enough. We shall see. Okay, so let's move on because we have a few topics to discuss before we come here for the name and shame. That's what we're here for. This is called the Revelations episode, the name and shame. And I think we all have some revelations to contribute, right? So moving quickly along, in addition to the hard drive situation, right, there was also consternation and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada about God of War finally being announced for PC, right? Like, those of us who've been paying attention, those of us who've been watching some of these great content creators over the years, we're talking, your RDXs, we're talking your Randall Thors, we're talking about, a lot of these voices that have been in these streets for a long time. They said this many a year ago, right? And when that was said, it became console war fodder, blah, 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 blah. And here we are, right? Now, I see a lot of people going, well, it's an old game. It's never going to come day and date. I'm like, it used to never come at all. Now it's coming. And now it's not day and date. Give it some time. Just like the other one took a while, I can see day and date eventually being part of this equation somewhere down the line. That's my opinion on it. And for the record, I think it's all good for gamers. I think if you're a real PlayStation fan, this is what you want. This is what you want because that means they have more money to budget, make bigger games. They can be a bit more bold because they know they don't only have to be on the PlayStation is where their monetary bread is buttered. They can, incorporate other platforms into it as well and be more confident in their newer games that they're making. That's my opinion on the matter. And I will double dip. I have it on PlayStation. I played it there. I'm looking forward to the ultra wide experience. I'm looking forward to mods and all of this stuff.
And
so
difference
I think it's good.
Is on PlayStation you got to buy it twice, but we will get to that, I suppose.
Yes. And to this day, that is the secondary. That is the secondary, like the day and date stuff. I think that battle has lost. Y'all, it's just a matter of time. Yep. But still, where I think that Xbox will still, or Microsoft will still have kind of the edge, they'll go, you buy it here and it's just yours. Whereas PlayStation will always go, you buy it here, it's here. You buy it there, you got to buy it again. Yes.
Cross-buy, cross-progression.
That will not happen on PlayStation.
Cross-play, all those
that will
things.
never happen. Cross-play maybe on a game-by-game basis, but cross-progression and cross-buy will never happen. They're because of their monetary focus, that's where I will put my flag in the ground. You will never see them say, oh, you buy one of our first-party games on this console, it'll be available wherever it's sold. Hell no. They will always make you pay twice.
I'm gonna.
What do you think?
I'm gonna pray that Slow-Mo isn't listening right now, and I'm gonna say something here. That is so. This all of my PC smoke aside, right? What I love about Xbox's approach is they are removing those distinctions, right? So when I play a game, right, the game comes to me. I don't go to it. It goes where I am. And I'm a paying customer, so why shouldn't the goddamn
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. 100%.
So if I am off of work and I'm in the living room and I want to sit on my couch, I'm playing the same game, right? And then
in many cases, taking your save with you.
Right. If I'm not home, but I have access to a browser, because I don't believe in playing on the phone. It's not there yet. Some people just aren't. Even if it was there, the screen is too small for these kind of complex games. It'll never be there for me, but to each their own. But I think the Trojan horse with xCloud that no one talks about enough. Everyone talks about it like phones and you need a mobile connection. Having access to it in the browser or directly built into Windows or when they have them on these TV apps, that is the killer. That is the killer for xCloud, right? And if people can play their switches at 280p, like you can play cloud games, right?
That's right. If you can still continue to count for Nintendo after all of that, then there's no need for
it is good enough on a home connection. And I know people have like data caps and things like that, but like generally it is good enough, right? And the same way Netflix can work out those deals, like, hey, Netflix streaming doesn't count against your data caps. Microsoft can work out those deals.
Yep, they have to go with the net neutrality tide, not fight against it, unfortunately.
Right.
Yep.
So I say all of that to say the game will come to me wherever I am at. And when I'm on my PC and I want the best graphics and I want the best everything, and I feel like installing 1 million updates, and I feel like going through the hassle of having to install C++ just because I bought a game.
There he goes.
I want to deal with all of that.
I sense anger.
he had a thing with slow-mo about C++. We won't get into that.
I can play it there in that way in the best fidelity on PC.
Absolutely.
And that is powerful. I bought the content and now it follows me wherever I go.
It's a major W.
Right?
And the thing
like a crazy ex-girlfriend. So
yeah.
Dude,
I don't know if this would be a crazy ex-girlfriend. This is more like a great wifey right here. But yeah, you're right.
Go ahead,
and I'm with you 100%, Keosante, that eventually, I don't care what any of these PlayStation guys say, the games will come day and date eventually. It's just a matter of time.
There's no monetary reason why not to. Like, who are you? Like, and we're being generous with the numbers, right? We already discussed this, Everborn. Like, 20 million people play most PlayStation games, right? 20 million people, right? That's a drop in the bucket on the PC side, like a drop in the literal bucket, right? Worldwide Steam sales. Who are you? Like, look at like what do you call it? Sea of Thieves numbers. Look at Grounded numbers. These are games that Xbox put on PC, and they're not considered, games that bring the boys to the yard, so to speak. But the numbers are ridiculous on Steam.
25 million people playing Sea of Thieves.
I couldn't believe it.
Monthly,
I would have.
Right?
If you'd have told me that when it was launched, I would never have believed it.
And you can look at these numbers since A Pirate's Life launched. I think they were at 17 million. Then they went up to 19 million. Then they went up to 20 million. Then 22 million. Now 25 million people playing Sea of Thieves. Right?
Yep.
But Sea of Thieves never gets like mentioned in the names of big Xbox IPs.
True.
Yep.
But what other games can you point to? What other first party games from anybody? You see slow-mo?
The only one you can name is Minecraft.
You're gonna use that one against you.
He says clip. The only one that comes close or outdoes it is
no,
Minecraft.
but people don't count Minecraft. This is another problem, right? When you let these people like dictate the terms of what we're talking about, I think is the other point. But I say all of this to say.
We got you, man. Got him.
We got him. We got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
But so this is I don't understand this with that crowd. Well, I do understand it, and we'll talk about where it comes from in a second. But how does a game being launched day and date on PC hurt you? I hear people saying, I hope they don't do that. Why?
Listen.
So
make it make sense.
Let me bring something real quick because I was listening to Ty Talk. If you haven't heard of him, he has a great YouTube channel. I was listening to a podcast. Ty Talk.
You said Ty Talk. It was like, does he eat
Ty. TAYE. Ty Talks. Check out his YouTube channel. He's got a good group. He's out in Ireland. Black brother, really promoting good stuff. I was listening to him talk about it yesterday. And basically, one of his group was saying that the reason why that is problematic in their opinion is the way PlayStation makes games right now has always been so heavily focused on their specific hardware, specifically their hardware, right? And because of that, they can make the best out of it. They can make it shine and all that. That's great. If they start getting all that, if their bread starts getting buttered by PC, then they'll change focus in their estimation. And then all of a sudden you won't get The Last of Us 2 with strands of hair that took 6 months to create, because then they also have to like account for the lowest PC mark. That's their
But here's the problem. Worry. But the devil is a liar, right? The thing is
indeed.
The thing is this, right? once we made that jump to x86, I think all of that was out.
All that was out the window.
Right.
Yes.
So, and furthermore, like I think it is only sort of the marketing at work, right? And when I say the marketing at work, it's like, this is what we support right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to tell you
it only exists. That's right.
We have to tell you that this is the only way we can do what we're doing right now, when the numbers don't really back that up. The tech doesn't back that up. And you can't tell me that a game that can also run on that is made cross-platform. This is God of War. This is
by the
Horizon.
Way, all these games are made, basically developed on PC. So that idea of porting is ridiculous.
Right. So you really can't tell me that is what is holding you back. It is just that. And the other thing is, I don't think the Venn diagram of console gamers like me and PC apologists like Slow-Mo, I don't think that's a circle. Right?
Oh man.
I think there is some overlay, but some people will just prefer the convenience of a console, and they feel like I want to play in the living room.
Yep.
Right? You know, everybody drives a car, but not everybody is trying to fix a car and get under the hood and be a grease monkey.
That's
right.
That's
right. So some people are in car enthusiasts like that, and it's great for them, and that's a huge market. But a lot of people just want to drive a Camry or a Tesla or whatever it is and not think about it. Right. So
real quick, appreciate you, good sir. We appreciate you just being here. Donations aren't necessary. We really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
What you could do is share it. If
you can share it, you can subscribe, you can like it. We appreciate all of y'all for being here. Thank you guys so much for all the kind words about the show. We appreciate you guys being here. You're making the show much better by just being here. Thank you.
Please sub to these two gentlemen.
Thank you. Go ahead, man. Continue. You're absolutely right.
So this is the thing.
Isn't this what we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Apple, hey, we introduced widgets. Now they exist.
Yeah. But it's not even like now they exist. They've told you that you have to accept their business model because it's the only way they can get you what we've told you
want.
Greatness,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
But again, PC is not stopping you from playing God of War, as we see. PC's not stopping you from playing Last of Us 2 because it was on the PS4, and there's nothing that the PS4 could do that a PC can't. Right? So you could put your favorite games on the PC. You didn't want to, right? Because when you did, you want to do this TikTok approach where we're going to sell all of you the game on PS4 and PS5. We'll support those, even though we believe in generations, but that's a conversation a little while back.
There you go with the slander.
And then we're gonna sell you the same. We're gonna sell you the same game again as a director's cut for another $10, and then we're gonna sell it to you again on the PC.
Man,
it's genius when you think about it, but like it doesn't have to be that way. And if it is that way, that's fine. I accept it. But you will not catch me saying, I'm glad you're doing it this way. This is the only way to do it.
It's possible. This is the only way possible. Otherwise, those greatness doesn't show up.
Is exactly the way that my corporate overlord told me.
Tells me to. Yes, indeed. Yes, for sure. So there you go. You know.
But my rant is halfway over.
Your rant is halfway. Well, the show is halfway over, so it's good that your rant is only halfway over. Only halfway over. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, okay. So in keeping the same energy as far as the smoke being billowed right now, let us move on to another topic, real quick. We'll breeze through this one because I want to get into the main topic. But let's talk real quick about Halo still launching without next gen patches or DLSS. And next gen patches for console or DLSS for PC. Let us first and foremost be clear here, okay? Let's set the stage. When this whole thing started, they announced that they would not be releasing, and this was in July somewhere when before they even announced that the game would be delayed, right? First, it was, hey, when it launches, we'll put the next gen patches out. It'll be all good. It'll come post launch. Right, and folks are like, "Oh, come on now! How you gonna release this thing post launch?" Right, And then, of course, shortly after, the game was delayed, right? Now, rubs his hands. He's ready to get in on this. And then the game was announced, okay? Now, when the game was delayed, I posted a tweet. This was in July somewhere going, because I heard a lot of people, oh, well, now that it's being delayed a year, that means the next gen, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, y'all are being presumptuous. They didn't say that. They said they said first,
well, you know what?
Post-launch next gen.
Go ahead. Man. I need to let everybody know that I am an unabashed Halo apologist.
Oh yeah.
So I'm getting ready to damage control heavy.
As am I. As am I. I have the Halo lore books right here. I've read them all. I'm still reading Jason's. I always do that. I'll just call Jason. Always
Joseph Staten. Myself
Joseph Staten's. I'm reading his book right now. Another Halo chapter in the book, right? So we are Halo apologists here. We will say that, but I'm not ready to cap. I have some nuanced smoke to give. So here we go. So after they delayed the game, right? People started, this means that the next gen patch will come and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, guys, don't be presumptuous. They just said it's delayed. That does not overshadow the fact that they said this will come post-launch, right? But nobody was hearing that. And now, with the latest report, not only is the next gen patch still coming post-launch, right? They also have a deal with AMD.
Is it the next gen patch, or is it specifically ray tracing?
No, next gen patch, which includes ray tracing, right? Everybody says ray tracing because that's the only visual representation of next gen. It will be. Can
you send me that link where it says?
I'll send you. I'll send you the link. But it will be
just so everybody's on the same page. There's a difference between ray tracing specifically and a whole next gen patch altogether.
Well, so the reason why the next gen patch is with ray tracing, it includes ray tracing, is because the current gen that will be released will be playable on all platforms, right? It'll be playable on the OG VCR, Xbox One, and it'll be playable all the way up to PC and everything else. When they add the next gen patch, that's where the differentiations will be, because then that file that you were originally playing, there will be one that is only playable on the new series. And that's where the ray tracing will be. The old one will still be there, right? Just like all the other games. They are going to upgrade, and then all of a sudden, you have to play it on an internal or one of their expansions. You won't no longer be able to play it on a standard delivery. No. It is smart delivery, true. They will use smart delivery to deliver it to you, right? But if let's assume this was on the PlayStation side, right? If this was on the PlayStation side, at some point, you would have to uninstall the PS4 version, like I did with Avengers, and install the PS5 version. Now, since they don't have smart delivery, it doesn't do that automatically. Like, you have to do that manually, so you see that there are two different versions. On the Xbox side, when that update shows up, you will it'll move itself to your internal or external expansion slot, but you will no longer be able to play Halo Infinite from an external, like, normal drive. And when it comes at launch, you will, because that version will be playable everywhere, including on the Xbox One OG, which can be played from external drives, right? And that ray tracing patch will be included in that next gen version.
So it's ray tracing and the next gen patch.
Yes, and what I mean by next gen, it'll be your, and this is me being presumptuous because we haven't seen the full details of it, but being that they're first party, I'm assuming that's where you'll get your faster loading times because they'll start using the compression. That's where, all of the VRR, all the various additions that they're making to the velocity architecture. That's when you will start seeing that in its fullest effect, right? At first, they're releasing it level set, even on the oldest of gens, right? So you can play it everywhere at the quality standard, so bugless.
They're focusing on, they're prioritizing the Xbox One.
Yes.
Sounds like what you're saying.
They're laying the groundwork, and then they'll start building up on top
what
of
they
that.
don't want is to get the Cyberpunk thing where it doesn't work on the
exactly.
The
and during the flighting, I actually played it on the OG Xbox One VCR, and that thing was screaming beautifully, 30 frames. Played it on the One X beautifully, 60 frames, and it played great. So I think they made a good choice there. But the problem here is, me personally, I think they should have reiterated when they announced the delay Or at least when they announced, okay, co-op is not there. Okay, Forge is not there. Oh, and remember when we told you the next gen patch wasn't coming? It's still not coming. They should have. That's where I have a little bit of, hey guys, because in January, in July, when I said this, people were like, oh, come on now, it's delayed a year. What do you mean? You know, it's got to come with the next gen patch. What are they doing for a year? Yeah, they're cleaning the game up, making it playable across the board. That next gen craziness. Not to say that it'll show up with Craig face. It's not doing that. They've already fixed that stuff, right? But to really take it the next gen.
How far can you go past Craig face on an Xbox One?
No, but you can. No. It wasn't Xbox One. The Craig face was not because it was Xbox One hardware. Craig's face was because they had not put all the bells and whistles in from jump.
The textures,
they had not done that from jump.
You know, but I was like you though, Santi. I was like you. I was on Twitter and I actually lost a follower, got into it with him because I'm a Halo apologist too. Sorry, diehard Halo fan, and you know, like every time I was like, well, you know, when they give us the next gen patch, it'll have all these things, and now that we got the delay, that means we'll likely get that at launch, and then you start hearing these the next issue, and I was like, look, 343, I try to defend you all as best as I can. I didn't tag them or anything. I don't want to discourage them, but I was just saying it's like they take 2 steps forward just to take 3 steps back, it seemed at times, you know. So this definitely does put a little bit of a hindrance to them. But I'll let you continue because I'll make
No. I don't disagree. See, I all I will say is I don't say it puts a hindrance to them because they didn't say the next gen patch was coming out this year. They didn't say that with the launch.
But they did not say it was coming out.
Right. All I'm saying is my only bit, and I said this on Boom's show on Breakfast with Boom, the only thing I have to say about this that is a little bit to the side of those who are upset about this is y'all have a whole department dedicated to messaging. There's a whole full department with a hierarchy and org structure and everything just dedicated to marketing and talking about this stuff. You didn't think it was worth reiterating? Yeah. Just once?
Yep.
Just once. So that leaves all this blah, blah, blah out the way. Let's be absolutely clear here. And you can call it Kappa, you can call it whatever you want. I'm a Halo apologist, sure. When that game comes out, it will be brilliant. It will look great. The level set that they've shown us, which is the Halo flighting, already shows how great it is. It will continue to get better from there. So I'm not saying that it's going to be, it's shit day one. No one is saying that. And I think those who think it is going to be are just using that as ridiculousness. It's unnecessary to even speak on that. Yeah. But they should have reiterated. They should have, in my opinion, by the way, because they've said it multiple times. No Forge, okay, yeah, we deal with it. No co-op, okay, yeah, we'll deal with it. You should have come out and said, oh, by the way, also still no next-gen console patch. Now, that's one side of the equation.
Well,
right?
Let me ask you a question, though. This is just so we're in particular. And I do want to say something to Slow-Mo's comment, but do we know for a fact that it has no next-gen features at all? You should read the Verge article. Like they're basically, and I'll find it and send it to you. They're basically level setting folks. Hold on. They're basically level setting folks, letting them know that, you know, this is not there, that's not there. That's what they're level setting. In addition, and this is for Slow-Mo's benefit, in addition to saying that right now they're going to be close partnering with AMD to leverage FSR, which, let's be real, in the PC space, FSR isn't it, right? They just started. It's good. It's going to be great. It's going to get better. Even DLSS got good, and DLSS 2.0. 1.0 DLSS was not it, right? It was potential, but it really started shining when they took a second stab at it, right? And FSR right now is not it, but they're only featuring FSR, which is understandable because their hardware GPU is made by AMD. What do you want to do? Oh yeah, we're featuring FSR and DLSS. They don't want that in part of the conversation. I think that later down the line, and they've also said that in the article, that they're open to different rendering tools, which means when our marketing thing ends with AMD and all of a sudden that's no longer blah, blah, blah conversation talking point, NVIDIA then you'll see it kind of, hey, here's DLSS coming out.
NVIDIA time.
Yeah.
So, you know, all the smoke that they get for this, that's fine. And I'm looking for the article for you, by the way. Right. Please do. But there is, and Slomo said this in the chat, and he's not the first person I heard say this.
Oh yeah, it's true.
What? No, not that. What were they going to release a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. They didn't release it.
Yeah,
right. It doesn't matter what they were going to release. And Pixel has a conspiracy theory that I tend to agree with, which is they were pulling a God of War, which is we was never going to release this. We're just going to tell you because we're trying to sell consoles out for the long.
I've heard that one too. I've heard that one too.
That's a good point because you're right. What were they going to give us last year?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't even imagine the damage that would have been done if they released this game last year.
Yep.
And
no, I agree. So I guess my question, and I'll let you, Umbra, I'll let you start this off. Like in the grand scheme of all of this, does this matter to you? Is this upsetting? How you feel?
I'm going to tell you, it annoys me a little bit because, like I said, it's more that it gets tacked on to the 343 slander and hate, right? Because they kind of do it to themselves at a point. It's like 343, damn. Like, I want so much for them to succeed, but you know, you have these mounting issues, and then people keep pointing to it, and I can't explain it away because after a point, you just start to sound like a shield. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, it's me as far as I go. No, it doesn't really hinder anything for me. I'm still going to enjoy what I played. All of us played the flight. The flight was spectacular. Anybody in the chat can tell you that as well. It played spectacular. The game feels great.
Not on PC, but yeah.
Well,
on PC was good. I was playing on PC.
Yeah, results vary on PC. Some had great experiences on PC too. Yep.
I played it on PC right here. It was great. And actually, I was surprised. I'm playing on PC, 3080, boom, amazing, all that. And then I go into my living room and play on the Series X, and I'm just like, damn, this plays even better here. How is that possible? Like, it was amazing how well it played on Series X.
Was better than the PC.
Console master race.
It could also be that I was using the OLED on the screen and it was inky black and it looked better and it was smoother and
nice.
It is what it is.
That CX that CX carried it through. But yeah, man, I'll say like this is disappointing, but it's not disheartening. That's the best way I can put it. Because it doesn't annoy me enough to be like, why did they, it doesn't really upset me. Not this. When they were talking about, I forgot what the specific is. Like, yeah, the co-op situation and Forge, that was more annoying, a nuisance to me that was like, that hurt them that I disliked. But even that didn't stop me because like I said, I'm more of a single player where I play through it myself. And knowing that this is going to be semi-open, open world and we get to explore and do all these things, I would much rather do that on my own and get this lore, this story, and ingest that without having somebody else in my ear like, hey, making some random noise or something. I have to be like, shut up, and I was likely going to play it with my nephew who was in the chat earlier, but I'll play it with them later on in 3 months or however long. It probably won't be 3 months. I'm going to guess it'll end up being longer than 3 months. I'm going to guess before they really add it, but I can do that another time. Now I'll play through this way, single player or whatever. So this right here doesn't really take any type of enjoyment away from me still. I wish they had it, but as long as it's still coming, I'm fine with that. But I'll say it doesn't look great on 343.
Death by 1,000 cuts, man. Go ahead.
I want to ask everyone, Umbra, UK, everybody in the chat. 343 is trying to, seems like anyway. Okay, let me not say trying. They're very talkative, right? Should they let us in on these things, or should they just shut up and then deliver the game and then we'll see it and keep all these things a mystery?
I have said that for a long time.
Hold on a minute. Now, I get why you say that, but the reason I'm asking that question is, don't we want to be more involved and understand what goes into making the sausage? Are we mature enough to handle that?
So let me give you a rebuttal to that. And there's one quick example of that. Just a really quick example of that, right? Ghost of Tsushima.
By the way, my comment has nothing to do with whether what we should and shouldn't accept and whether this is okay or that's okay. What I'm saying
you're just like deciding on whether 343 should be as forthcoming as they are.
Should the industry be more forthcoming? Yeah. Just so we know.
But the industry isn't as forthcoming. This is specifically Microsoft that does this.
Right.
Because, and why I say this is Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay,
we know that they were coming with multiplayer, but we didn't know that from jump. It was coming with multiplayer. It was in start, and they decided to delay the multiplayer. Did you know that? Hell no. You just played Ghost of Tsushima and you loved it and gave it raving reviews. Not you specifically. I'm talking about the public, right? And then all of a sudden that multiplayer hit, and it was like a breath of fresh air surprise. Oh, and they added multiplayer. Amazing. They are good at that marketing. Xbox is wonderful at being forthcoming, but sometimes it's to a fault, man. It's to a fault. But you're basically giving people the critical bullets for their gun to use against you later.
Okay. Firstly, I'm because if you want them, and I'm not really talking about 343, I'm making a larger point here.
No, right? I get it. I get it.
If we want them, and maybe we don't, maybe we can't handle the truth, right?
I'm thinking that's where we're going.
So if we can't handle that, and we just want them, we want to believe that there's a mystery, and we'll just wait and hear what happens. Fine, but I wonder if we, and this is again, the only way you're accepting this, right, is if you play that game day one, right? So anybody that says, don't just accept it, do not play it on day one, and they will see that. I don't care if it's in your subscription or not. Don't buy it, don't stream it, don't play it. If that's the way you feel, right? Simple. And you will not prove anything to them unless that is what you do. Other than that, you are just complaining, right? As we tend to do in the Twitter streets, right? So again, I think that we should take the good with the bad in terms of information dumps.
But don't you think that going on? Don't you think that because of all of the babies and the whining and the wah, that it kind of makes it not worth it for them to do that? Because there are those of us who want that information and we can handle it, but many can't, and they use it to be whiny. And
again, we're talking about winning Twitter debates, right?
I'm talking about
hold on, no,
as a whole,
right? This is the most holistic we can be right now. Did any crying and Twitter spaces talking about Halo, this is not my Halo, or what are they doing with Fire 343? Did that change your experience in the flight?
Hey Lou,
yes or no?
Hey Lou, I see you. What was his name? Hey Lou, talk about
Hey Lou. Who put Hey Lou? I hate gaming since NES.
I hate that, man.
It's got to be gaming since NES. It
may be gaming since NES. Yes.
So again, did that hamper in any way your experience of the flight?
No, of course not. But that's not what we're talking about here, though. But you're conflating the issue. That's not what we're talking. Obviously, in the long run, in the whole, when it's all said and done, that doesn't matter as much. But again, these guys have a whole messaging department whose job it is to anticipate all this BS and quell it, right? So it is worth giving a bit of criticism that whole department isn't doing their job. It's not doing that job.
I'm not saying don't criticize it, right? The question I'm asking is, should they say anything, or should they keep us in the dark? This is not, again, I keep saying it's not a 343 thing.
Sure.
Industry wise, do we want the developers that we follow?
Well, but I honestly think you can look at what's out there right now, right? And you can choose two different models and see which one works best. Like I said, Ghost of Tsushima. They could have been forthcoming. By the way, there's a multiplayer coming, but we're not going to release it because we think it needs more time to cook. They didn't do that. They were quiet about it. And because of that, they weren't dinged for it on Metacritic. They weren't dinged for it in the game. And then when the multiplayer came out, people were happy as hell to see that there's a multiplayer that they didn't know was coming at first, right? And then you have this way where people will complain. You know damn well, you know it. We don't have proof because it's not December 8th yet. But how many people want to bet with me that people are going to ding them for no co-op? People are going to ding them for none of this, none of that. And obviously they were going to be dinged for that anyway because Halo is a known commodity. But making such hay out of it and coming out and being all full-throated about it, will lead to that being part of the conversation moving forward, right? Had they found a way of keeping that kind of, and Halo being a bad example because Halo is Halo, right? But let's just say if we lived in a world where Ghosts was being made by Xbox and they came out and said, well, we think the multiplayer still needs to go into the oven for a little longer, that would have been like, well, this would be an 8, but now it's a 7 because there's no multiplayer.
Oh boy.
Well, let me ask you a question. And so again, I
am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Well, you're not wrong in the terms of the conversation, right? But how much in the grand scheme of things does the conversation matter? Because what I'm saying is, I like the idea that where studios and publishers could be more forthcoming with these things, just because they interest me. Now, it doesn't mean I'm happy about a thing. Doesn't mean I'm accepting a thing. Doesn't mean a thing is okay. But I like the idea of trying to move to a place where
we can have adult conversations about the process.
But we can't because we're like, well, I wanted it to be magic, and it's not magic.
Exactly.
So I hope that even when there's bad news to share, this doesn't shun them away from being more forthcoming. And if people like you just because it's working, hold on a second. Just because it works really well for Sony, right, means that's the right way to do it. Sony's Big Bang only releasing on PlayStation works really well for Sony. That's how it works today.
That's not the right way.
It doesn't mean it needs to be that way in the future.
No, I agree. All I will say to that point is I hope the reviewers and the editors in those rooms are people who think the way you do, because if they do think the way you do, then we can move to that place where it can be a bit more forthcoming and the product won't get dinged unnecessarily for it.
But does it matter if the product gets dinged? How many people are playing Sea of Thieves, and what is this metaphor?
Sure, but again, like we see this and we're approaching it from our perch on the industry, right? These guys, specifically, and in this case, Microsoft, $2 trillion company who have a full organization just dedicated to marketing. So if that ding happens, someone is getting slapped on the wrist, even if in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. And we agree that it doesn't matter because not everybody far and wide will be having those conversations. But just the fact that it will make hay on these Twitter streets, because these Twitter streets are also their domain. That's the reason why you see Aaron Greenberg out there on these Twitter streets. That's why you see Stein out there on these Twitter streets. This is also their domain. Right. So if they're not able to quell that narrative, even if it's for a small subsection of the diehards, it's a black eye, not a really big one in the grand scheme, but they could have and should have done things to quell that a little bit. That's all this is. This is not gloom and doom because it doesn't matter in the long.
Let me add this part to it, fellas.
Please go ahead, Umbra. Yeah.
The thing about it is, you're both right? Like the problem is, if we have enlightened individuals like yourselves, we can absolutely have that transparency. The problem is, everybody, not all people are like us, where we can hear this bad news and be like, well, and contextualize it right. So that's the problem, and it will never be the case. We will never have that. And unfortunately, because of the backlash 343 got here, I don't know if they'll be as transparent going forward anymore. I mean, like in the future, as far as like the next Halo or whatever that would be. I don't know. But I hope that they continue going on forward with it. But I'll say this too. The first impression is everything, right? So because of that, and because they have so many things that seems like, the game is lacking, that has left a bad taste in people's mouths. And what happens when you have something that's a bad taste or anything that's perceived to be bad? It snowballs.
Yeah, you get Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, exactly. So now Sea of Thieves is more complete. It feels more complete now from what I've heard. But when I first played it, I was like, hell no, this is not for me. And I have people every day now like, hey, come play Sea of Thieves. And I'm like, because I still have that bad taste.
Bad taste, for sure.
So I'm just hoping that Halo doesn't suffer that. But what I will say, just to its point, like everybody's saying, the multiplayer played so spectacularly I am under the impression that once people play that, and if the campaign is right, these things will kind of fade away. The issues will kind of, okay, well, we still got a great game out of it.
I'll tell you what my
then we'll move on. Go ahead.
Biggest issue with this whole thing, it is not actually the ray tracing. It is that we still haven't seen the campaign yet, and it's about to be November, and this thing is coming out in December, and so the year delay was great, and I know that it was a crazy decision to delay it a year. They had all of that marketing. Chief is on the box. They had to kind of screw over all of their partners who they had licensing deals with, because they were ready to activate these things like Taco Bell, Mountain Dew, whoever else. And then Microsoft didn't come through with the product, and they delayed it a year anyway to give the developers more time. But the question is, with whatever they had when they showed it to us, was a year enough? Because it seems like the game probably should have been delayed 2 years. When we're really like stepping back and thinking about it, because I work in software development, right? You would be surprised the kinds of things that could. I got a project I'm working on right now that was supposed to be delivered in June, and we are lucky if we get half of it in December, with not all of the features that we wanted in the beginning. So I completely understand this, and as a person who, again, I'm not making video games, I'm making software in the financial industry. These things happen, right? And it doesn't mean that everyone isn't working their asses off.
Lex. Have faith.
Right? So
have some faith, man.
So it doesn't mean that everybody's not doing their best and working on it. And so this is more me dealing with a similar thing right now with this product we're trying to release, and understanding and empathizing with 343 that this shit is difficult, and they are delivering a lot, and a lot is promised, and a lot is expected. And I see that from the software engineer's point of view, because I'm leading a project right now that is delayed. Yeah. Right. And it's a million factors. Some of it is my team's fault. Some of it is management's fault for being unrealistic. Some of that shit is QA's fault, because it's like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Right. all of these things go into it. And these
factors in the equation. Yeah.
We're talking about people. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to, like, I get like voicing your frustration. I totally understand that. But to me, really the only way to, like, yes, voice your frustration, but this idea that, and I'm not pointing at you, Slow-Mo, by the way, but this idea when people say get 343 out of there and all of these things, and this is the end of the world and this is terrible, you haven't played the product yet, right?
Right.
It is incomplete. It is. I didn't argue that point, right? But what I'm saying is, like, let's try to put on our hats as though we're talking about real people.
Yeah.
Right. And part of that is the communication piece that I'm talking about. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, so they should be able to communicate these things without us saying, oh, clutching the pearls and crying and gnashing of teeth and all of these things and ripping out hair. Right. And we should say, if this is truly unacceptable to us, then I'm not streaming it day one. I'm not buying it day one. I'm not downloading it day one until it has what I want. And yes, voice your concerns, but the best way to do that is to play those fights and go. It's with your dollars, but you can also literally give them feedback.
Sure, like, yes, and they really appreciate that feedback. Yes, for sure, right? Yeah.
So I know we all want this thing to be great, and some of us don't. Right, and
some of us want to have a narrative to peddle, right? Yes.
But like, let's at least, whether you're happy about it or not, let's just understand these are people, and they're trying to bring us something amazing. That's it.
I agree. And to cap this off, because we're going to move on to the other topic, Xbox Celebration, November 15th. I suspect if we will see a campaign, which I know we will, that's where they'll start that.
Oh yeah,
November 15th. What is it? 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, 10 a.m. PT. That's where we'll start to see that campaign of, hey, here's the campaign stuff. That's when they'll start turning that marketing thing. So I'm there for it. That's where we might even see it before then.
Can't wait.
Definitely.
Let me ask you guys and everybody in the chat also. Should they? And I already know like what the like. I want you to look deep within yourself, right? Because they are two separate SKUs, right? Should they delay the campaign until it has all the next gen features?
Oh, stop
Hell
that.
no.
Stop
Hell no.
And release the multiplayer because people are happy with the multiplayer.
Hell
no. They've already made that decision. Keep moving. Yes, you answer us in the chat. We'll keep it moving. Let's talk real quick about this topic, and then we'll get to the main point because we're already 2 hours in. GTA Remastered Trilogy coming to console and PC. They've already said that the San Andreas will be coming to Game Pass day one, and a month later, Halo 3. See, there you go. I'm still stuck on the Halo. GTA 3 will be coming to PlayStation Plus day one. A month later. So each platform gets one bite at the different apple, and nobody will get all of them unless you buy the whole collection. So do we care? Do we not care? Have you guys seen this video? Real quick, have you seen the video of hey, this is how it used to look with the mitts, and now here's how it looks with the cleaner version of the mitts? Have you seen it?
I've seen it. And
what do you think?
It looks slightly. It looks pretty impressive because I didn't expect it to look as good as it looks. I still wish they would have remaked it instead of remastered it, but it still looks pretty decent. I absolutely will enjoy it. I'm San Andreas.
Are you planning on buying it?
I think I might. I'm trying to convince myself, but knowing that it's coming to Game Pass like that day and date for
Not
San
all
Andreas, I know
It's
San Andreas
them,
at least.
Yeah.
Maybe I might hold off, but Part 3 is my actual favorite, so it's whatever.
Okay.
But so I might buy it. I'm not sure.
Okay. How about you, Everborn?
Absolutely not. I'm not gonna buy it, and I'm not gonna play it. My backlog is too long. Can't go back to these things.
Thank you so much for saying that, because you have threaded the needle quite beautifully, good sir. Because we are here for the main topic of conversation, which is the damn backlog, man. That is what we're here for.
We're here to slander Everborn for not completing his games.
No. We're here to slander everybody because we are all equally guilty of this. And while we get into this conversation, I will share my screen and show. And while we were talking, myself and Infinite, we're talking a little bit before the show started, and we thought it'd be beneficial to share like just a list of considered by many. This was pulled from Business Insider. I'm sure you can find other lists that are similar. Considered by many, backed off of Metacritic, the like 50 top games. We're not going to go through all of them, but we'll just use that as a backdrop to having this conversation as to the games that we may have missed in the community and the games that are in our pile of shame. Go ahead.
Just so everyone knows that we have a few more people, so I have to remind people.
Yep.
I took 5 years off of gaming while I was reinventing my life, going back to school, making a new career, starting over from scratch. Back in 2015, I was on food stamps and Medicaid. I don't miss the food stamps, but I do miss that good sweet Medicaid.
That Medicaid, man. I miss it myself. Yes.
I wish I could pay for it now. But
indeed,
I was not gaming in all of these 5 years, so there's going to be a lot of. I came back to gaming when the new consoles launched, and
let's be clear here, okay? Let's be absolutely clear. This is not to really shame anybody because we're all guilty of it. We all have some in our backlog. I mean, we're here to have respectful, fun conversation. This should not be gatekeeping BS because they can get there, and that's not what I'm here for. Right? We all have games that we can put in our we can look at and go, damn, I can't believe we haven't played this, right? We all have that, right? And this is just to point out some of them that we all have that, and possibly actually even to speak to your point, Everborn, you don't have to play these games day one. You can go fill in some of this amazing backlog while they clean up the new games.
I just played and finished God of War 2018 for the first time.
For the first time, the best way version.
Yes. In April, I did that. No, that may have been May. April or May, I did that. amazing experience. That game could have came out today.
Yep,
absolutely.
Oh, and for PC and for many PC users, I imagine when it comes out in 2022, that'll be their first bite of that apple, and it will be amazing, looking better than anything they've ever seen. You know.
And what I'm going to start in January in preparation for Forbidden West is Zero Dawn. Well, actually, I already started that. I'm right at the proving, so I'm very early in that game.
So you're very early.
I'm going to finish that before part 2 comes out. So I'm catching up on all of these old games. Like I have to catch up on Gears 5.
Let's get through this list real quick. Not the whole thing, but we'll start the conversation, right? Because like there are lots of games, and for those of us who are PC players as well, you know, I know you've dipped into the Steam sales and went and gotten every single Tomb Raider game known to man for $5. You've gotten every single what do you call it? What's the other one? The other one they love to sell. All of the Half-Lives. I mean, they give you like, hey, remember this franchise you've loved for a long time? Yeah, you played version 1. There's 18 versions. Here, all of them. $10, right? And as they give you that, they make your backlog monstrous. There's an I should find this thing. There's this website that if you put your Steam credentials in, it tells you all the games that you haven't played yet. And if you played them, how many lifetimes it would take for you to finish?
I see.
Let's just say my lifetime would be 2. And that's not even counting, the humble bundles that I get, which is also like a pile of games, to the point where sometimes I throw old codes on the internet just to have some other people play it because it's just too much, right? So let's get into this, all right? Now, you have a very good reason, Everborn, for not playing all these games when they came out. And everybody has their reason. There's no reason that's better or worse than others. Maybe you couldn't have afforded it at the time. Maybe you were busy focused on other things at the time. But I do still think that it is a worthwhile enterprise to dig through the crates, find your old pile of shame, and maybe pull some of those back. Because Shadow Complex, for example, is one that people should play. They really should. If you're loving Metroid Dread today, you should go back and play Shadow Complex, because there are certain things that Shadow Complex does that I still say to this day is better than Metroid Dread. They do that, right? And it's unfortunate. It is quite unfortunate that what's his name, Epic will never go back to it because, of course, you know, all the let me see. Hold on 1 second.
I see all you guys in the chat. I'm not gonna play Uncharted 2, but I will play 4 and Lost Legacy. That's all.
Oh, Everborn. No, you're
not gonna do
it. One. You're skipping the best one.
Do it. Can't do it.
You're missing the best one, Everborn.
Backlog is too crazy. I got 5 years worth of games to play.
If I could counsel you to change your mind, I would definitely say play part 2 instead of 4.
I am stubborn as a mule, sir. It won't work.
And you're like, no, sir. But yeah.
Oh, you know, let's get this started, right? So
let's do it.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, considered by many to be, you know, one of the greatest versions of that game. And all these scores are Metacritic backed and what users think. Anybody miss that? Anybody on this?
I didn't finish it, but I didn't miss it. I played that.
I played a bit.
And when I say Call of Duty, I don't mean the multiplayer. I mean the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Umbra, you said you also played a little bit of it.
Just a bit.
Okay,
yeah.
so in other words, this is kind of on your backlog.
It is definitely.
It's not.
Well, no. Okay, so let's define terms. Okay, backlog would be I played it, but I need to finish it. Pile of shame would be I've never even played it at all.
Exactly.
That's fair, because this is backlog for sure.
So this is backlog for you, and for you also backlog. I do remember finishing this campaign, and I thought it was actually pretty damn good. How about this? How about Final Fantasy?
No, I've played that.
Put it in my pile.
That would be a pile of shame for me, good sir.
pile of shame for me as well.
That would definitely be pile of shame for me.
But you know, I did buy it. I did buy it recently, though. Yeah, so I will.
You did, okay. I love starting Final Fantasy games, but after a while, I get over it, and I'm just like, come on. The repetitive nature of it becomes in certain versions of it becomes a little grating.
Final Fantasy 10 was the last one I completed. So I completed every Final Fantasy up until that point.
Every single one. Even the Nintendo version?
Hold on a minute. No. Like
that's a whole
like 6 through 10.
6 through 10. Okay, so the PlayStation version.
Exactly.
6 through 10. Okay,
Was
that's a small
was
list.
6 on PlayStation or was that on Super Nintendo?
Oh yeah, that might be fraud, and I'm not sure. You know, I mean the 3D polygon versions. You know, so okay. Let's see. We'll keep going, and then we have. Let's see. Oh, not surprised. He has a 3080, not a 3090, by the way, and he plays inferior Xbox. Oh, come on, man! Stop it!
All
Stop
one thing, man. It's the
Stop
cloud. It's PC. We're all.
fused.
It's like, where does the raindrop end and the ocean begin, man?
Oh, here we go. Please, gentlemen, tell me that you at least played the beginning of BioShock Infinite.
Yep.
It loses the thread at the end, in my opinion, but what they set up at the beginning was glorious. The word, the undertones, the whole "hey, black people" thing was very, very like stark. You know. Go ahead, Umbra.
I have something to tell you guys.
Uh-oh.
Not only have I not played BioShock Infinite, I haven't played any of them, and I own all of them.
And he owns all of them. Oh, okay. If I have like an opinion to give, hey, we have many games. I would say of the BioShocks, put at least one, and I know the chat will probably disagree with me. Either put one, the first one, or Infinite on top of the list. I would say probably one, because one is more of a perfect kind of story. It really sets it up, right? But Infinite really was the culmination of all the amazing, like where they really took it.
The
right?
mechanics and all of that.
The mechanics, the world building, all of that. At the end, it kind of lost the thread, but still, I would at least start with one, because to me, like these are the Schindler's Lists of video games. Okay, these are the To Kill a Mockingbirds of video games. They are required reading. You know, so I think if you haven't played it, you definitely should at least. And chat, please feel free to disagree. I'll put your comments up on the screen. So, have you played Everborn? Have you played Infinite?
No, not Infinite. I'm lying to you.
Okay.
No, because I'm looking back at my achievements. No.
Okay, you're looking at the backlog. Okay,
I played the first one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you played the whole first one? Finished it?
No. Not according to my achievements, anyway.
You played most of the first one.
Yes.
I understand. Okay. So I would say the second one is on my backlog because I started and never finished. And they say that there's a DLC for the second one that was absolutely fantastic. And I like, it's been on my, eventually I need to play that one, you know. And of course there's Cotton. He's like, what? Yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of that today. A lot of what?
I see. He said he put man what?
Yes, that's right. There's gonna be a lot of that today.
This is a shameful one right here because I
see y'all got to be playing these games.
Hey, Cotton, you know they're gonna ask us for our credentials soon, and I have to get back.
No, but look, there are many other games we play, right? So this is not to shame necessarily. This is just to let you know that your backlog is not the only one that's a shame. Ours is too. We all have them, right? Mm-hmm. We all have them. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So okay. Let's move along to this list here. Now, I don't think most people will. Let's see. This was 40. Why did I get 46 from? Oh yeah, that's probably because I put it in this format. Let me get rid of that format. My bad. So let's put it in proper format because I want to name this game as well. Have y'all played World of Goo?
No,
never even heard of it.
Never even heard of it.
Never heard of it either.
Okay, the chat. Anybody remember World of Goo? I'll tell you what World of Goo is. World of Goo was the very first real iOS game. And it wasn't an iOS game. It was built before iOS. It was a game that was built for, I think it was a Flash game in the beginning, but eventually it was the first like real game that came to iOS. And it was a weird, like little monster dudes that you connect.
Hey guys, I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. Don't worry about it.
Real quick.
Don't worry about it. Do your thing, man. No worries. Yeah. You know, it was a very weird, a very old game, but of course, by Metacritic standards, it's still to this day one of the highest rated games, right? I mean, I wouldn't say you have to play it, but this to me is kind of like, what's that game that became very popular? Zombies, something with zombies, also a Flash game. Oh man, and then EA bought them. And eventually, they made
Plants and Zombies.
Plants versus Zombies. Yes, This is from the Plants versus Zombies era. when that was like, oh my God, this game works, and it works on this little iPad thing.
Mm-hmm.
This man's like, show me your achievements. Calm down, man.
That's my buddy Casual right there. He's
okay. I love that. In all caps. Show me your achievements, man.
He talks just the way he writes, by the way. Loudly.
So yeah, if you haven't played it, it's a good kids game. I remember this because way back then, look at the platforms it was on. It was on Wii, PC, OS 10, Linux, iOS, Android, even BlackBerry. It's that far back. What I'm saying? But it should be on the list. Now, Metal Gear The Phantom Pain.
I played just a bit of it. Have not gotten.
Define your bit. Hour, 2 hours?
Probably more like 2 minutes.
You played 2 minutes of seriously?
Yeah, I have not.
All right, let's open it up. How about Metal Gear as a whole? Give me your Metal Gear as a whole.
I played through Metal Gear, the old Metal Gear, of course, on the
Nintendo Metal Gear or like PlayStation 1 Metal Gear?
Nintendo Metal Gear and PlayStation.
I'm PlayStation Metal Gear.
I'm Nintendo to PlayStation. Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear 3. Did not play 4 because at the time I didn't have a PS3. And I didn't like that they skipped out on being on the Xbox at the time. So I kind of boycotted them in my own head. Never got around to playing 4. And then I have Revengeance. Was it Revengeance or
Revengeance, yeah.
I have that now. I actually bought that last week, so I'm going to play through that as well. And
cool.
And what was the one before this Phantom Pain? They had like a small demo of it.
It was the long demo where you infiltrate like a park.
Exactly.
Yeah. I forget the name of Ground Walkers or something like that. Ground Zeroes.
Pain Walker. Oh yeah, that's right. And Ground so I played a bit of that and didn't play through that fully. So Ground Zeroes, exactly. So I have to beat that and then I'll get to Phantom Pain.
All right. So Everbone, what were you saying? Have you played Phantom Pain?
Yes. Where's the one where he was on the George Washington Bridge? That's Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation, right?
Part 2.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah, 2.
Okay. So, yeah, I've played that one. I've played 4 and I've played 5.
Iro, thank you so much for checking us out, brother. We appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you again. Thank you so much for joining.
And the only one that I finished
where's the boot come from, Neo? Who you booing, man? I love it, man.
And
I can see that meme. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. Please.
No. I said the only one I finished was that George Washington Bridge one.
Okay. Yeah. See, if you haven't finished
that was the one
any
where
of the
you
Metal
had to
Gears,
use the memory card, right? To switch. Yeah.
Well, no. You're talking about part 1. You're talking about part 1 with the memory cards, right? With the Psycho Mantis.
Psycho Mantis, yeah.
Like whenever Metal Gear was on the PlayStation 1, I always think that's the one with the George Washington Bridge. I guess that was
that's the very first one. That's,
okay, then I played the first 2. I played the first.
Yeah, you played the first 2,
and then 4 and 5, but I didn't play 3.
Okay, yeah. See, when it comes to Metal Gear, I'll give people passes if they haven't played it because it is a very acquired taste. It is like I remember the PS3 version where you literally had, I forget the name of that one, where you literally sat through like 2 hours of cutscenes before you even touched the controller. I was just like, it was just nuts, like that's that literally nuts. Effect. It was a little too much. So
Slow-mo says Metal Gear is as overrated as Kojima.
Yeah, and then he runs away real quick. Nah, look. It's an acquired taste. It's a very, very acquired taste. And I know some people who are all about it. And I also know folks who are just like, get this garbage out of here. I understand. I understand. And I won't begrudge you either way. Portal 1 and 2.
Yes.
The cake is not real.
Yep.
The cake, what is it? The cake does not exist. The cake is not real.
The cake does not exist, yes. So I can assume both of you have played?
Yes.
All of it?
No. I'm even frauding as I tell you I played it. Yep, I did it somewhat.
I beat 1, but 2. I think I beat 1 and 2, but I would have liked to come back and play 2. That there's a special multiplayer mode, co-op mode that I did not play. I didn't fully play because I didn't have somebody who wanted to play all the way through 2 with me at that time. But 1 and 2, I will say honestly, that is like required reading as well. Like Portal is a very, very special game. And to tie things back, it was made in partnership with Kim Swift, who is now who was tip of the spear at Valve at the time, working on VR, then moved to Stadia because he was working with Kojima on that game, and now is at Xbox because they're working with Kojima on that game. Same woman made, like, I think this was their college project when they finished or whatever, Portal 1.
Right.
So yes, these are the ties that bind, and it's a very, I mean, to this day, people biting it left and right. So if you haven't played it, you definitely should play it. This is on one of those on the hill that needs to be played. Now,
I'm not even angry.
Exactly. I have that song. It's great. It's a great thing. Persona. I won't even say Persona 5 Royal. Persona in general. Have any of y'all played any of them?
Never played any Persona games.
Yep.
How about you, Umbra?
Sign me up to the never played it game.
I played Persona 4 Golden on my Vita. It became the Vita, like that was my device. I think almost 300 hours. That game is long, like, and it gets longer and longer as you play. It is long, but it's a great game. I can see how people love it, but after going through that, at the time I had the time to do that. It's kind of taking me off of Persona games in general. And Neo, add some context to that. Who's lying over here?
No, he's talking in slow mo because slow mo.
Oh, he's talking in slow mo.
But slow mo was saying Kojima's overrated, and then
so they're having that fight. They're having that battle. Okay, they're having that battle.
But Persona, I've always liked the art style. I've always thought about playing it, but I just never cared to actually go into that versus the other games I was playing. But if it comes to Xbox, I absolutely will play it.
Yeah. There's been rumors abound that it's eventually going to hit, but so far it's since the Yakuza train is on there, we're thinking maybe that's next. We shall see. But as you can see, it's critically acclaimed, as it always tends to be. It's just a game that requires a lot of your time.
Yep.
Now, Madden 2003.
Yes, I've played it.
Yes.
Is that who was on the cover of that? The last one I played was Michael Vick was on the cover. So I'm pretty sure I know I played this one, yeah.
And this was on PS1, PS2, GameCube, OG Xbox.
Yeah, I played it. I know for sure now.
At that time, I think at that time I was still in Europe at the time. No. I had moved out here fresh, but I hadn't really gotten into American football yet, so that's on my pile of shame. And these days, Madden being what it is, I don't think you'd want to go back and play that anyway. You probably want to play a bigger roster in the 2021 version. But yes, this is definitely on my pile of shame for sure. Now we get into some really interesting meat. The Last of Us 1.
Absolutely.
Pause. Yes.
Pause. Yes, pause indeed.
Absolutely. Loved it.
So finished it
completely.
Yes.
Several times.
Okay, and even the DLCs?
Nope.
Yep.
I didn't.
Oh,
You did. Okay. Yeah. Now the reason why I asked about the DLC is because, like, if you didn't finish the DLC, there's different, like, you will be surprised at 2. There's certain story elements that were only in the DLC that they continued in 2. So let's see. So now, since you've been here long enough, Umbra, now you get some righteous smoke from Mr. Slow-Mo Backslap. There you go. Welcome to the show, good sir. There's the fridge. Go get it.
Call me the 2-minute man.
Pause. No. Okay. Moving swiftly.
Your pauses per minute are extremely high, Umbra.
Majora's Mask.
You don't have to ask
Majora's
me.
Mask.
I'm a bigger Zelda stan than I am a Halo stan, and I will not accept any Zelda slander. I will come to your house and I will fight you. So
And have
yes,
you
I've played it, and yes,
Majora's
I've completed.
I just want to know why Link goes through all that for Zelda to curve him at the end. I don't really get that part.
You want to talk about getting curved? Let's talk about the ending for Mario Odyssey. How this mother effer goes all around all of these worlds and planets just to get her, and then he goes to the moon, and then she leaves him there with Bowser on the moon with his ship.
She's like, man, look, you all stay here and work it out. But that's a long running thing with Mario. He continuously get left with the blue balls. I'm like,
friend zone, man, friend zone. Mario's the friend zone always.
Get to me blue balls. Yes, I played through Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. By the way.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Yes, this is on my backlog. I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
Didn't finish it. I would say I'm thinking like 90% in. Didn't finish it.
I hate when I do that. By the way, I played games where I got mostly through and just stopped.
And then you can never go back because you forgot. Forgot like some of the logistics, and it makes it hard for you to just fit right back into it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It is what it is. You can look at me that way, there, Everborn. I'm sure you keep looking at me that way. It's fine. I'll move quickly along. Link to the Past.
I love it. Legendary.
The greatest game ever made, all time. Hands down, I will not be taking any questions.
Legendary.
I play this game once a year, no joke.
Don't they have a remake?
No.
Yeah.
They have Link's Awakening. They do not have that, which I also played.
Wait a minute. Didn't they have that one that was like a 3D version?
Yeah.
It wasn't Link to the Past, though.
I thought it was, though.
No. So you are. So, okay. No, there's no remake of this.
I could have sworn it had one that was like a 3D version. But
Ocarina of Time, you go back and forth in time, like how you do in
he's right. It's Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening. It is Link's Awakening. That's the remix. Yeah.
You don't have to second guess me when it comes to Zelda, sir.
My apologies.
Oh, here we go. The man is dropping it.
But this is one of those games, by the way, that I grew up. I was watching my uncle play here first before I played it, and I wasn't like a baby or something here, just to clarify. But I was watching him play this, and it inspired me to play through it. Just a magnificent game, honestly. Masterpiece.
Now,
Link to the Past was actually, fun fact, the first video game that I ever played to completion. And I did it all at my friend's house because I didn't have a Super Nintendo at the time.
Wait a minute, even before Mario?
Genesis was my first system.
Well, even before Sonic?
And let's be real.
I didn't have a system yet.
Oh, okay.
Let's be real. If you played Mario Brothers 1 and you played it to completion, you were a gangster back then because that game was hard.
Absolutely.
That was hard. I don't think anybody finished the end of that game. Now, the very next one, this one, I'm sorry, but if you have not played it to completion, you will leave the show and you will leave my chat immediately.
Oh, you don't even. We can skip. We can go ahead.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Slow-mo.
No,
he just came for violence this morning.
No. Slow-mo, I will kick you out of the chat.
He's gonna pause you for a while.
This is not even my channel, and I will ban you.
No, but seriously,
something up.
Seriously, you must have played this game. And if you didn't play it to completion, it's not a big deal because they didn't even finish it. It just ends. The game just ends.
I think I put so much time in the Halo games, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
Like from different generations up to now, it's got to be.
When you ask about Halo, you have to ask if we did it on Legendary. That's the only thing where you're gonna get some maybes and maybe nots.
Yeah.
All
very
Legendary.
True. Very true. But you know what? And honestly, for those who didn't play on Legendary, I hear you. It's okay because not everybody can do that, right? It's fine. I just want you to have experienced it. And if you finished it and you've experienced it, then you definitely should be going.
All right, I do want to say something though about Halo 2, right? In all its greatness. While I loved his story, I hated playing as the Arbiter, and I love Keith David. I felt the same way I felt playing Halo 5. When can I get back to the Chief?
I didn't feel that way, but okay.
I did feel that way. I did not want to play as the Arbiter at the time. It felt weird to me.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be killing you guys.
You know, when I remember that when it transitioned to happen and we had the Arbiter. I'm like, what is this nonsense? I can't get jiggy with this. This is not the Chief. But then after a minute, I can get jiggy with this. But after a minute, I absolutely loved it. And it's one of those games where you come back and you're like, no, they did that right. And this Halo 2, by the way, to me still is the hardest legendary one.
Hey, go back and play Guardians. Tell me if you still feel bad about playing with Locke. I don't.
Oh, I never
did.
Man.
I actually think it was great. Yeah, I think it was great.
Yep.
Now, Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec.
I don't know what A-Spec is, but I'm pretty sure I played Gran Turismo 3.
I played 3. I don't remember
for
playing
a couple
A-Spec.
of minutes.
Yeah, well, no, I remember going through this game and getting the license and all of that, like going through the process. This was the truth back in the day, man.
Oh.
This was like very difficult, but like a rite of passage. I loved
Finally, Slow-Mo is acknowledging wisdom and good sense.
Yes, continuing the tradition of highlighting those that agree. There you go.
Where it's so easy. But with part 3, I played it, but I don't remember playing A-Spec. I'm not sure if I did or not. That was
I do recall playing it.
Yeah, that was
Red Dead 1.
Absolutely, loved it.
Never played any Red Dead game.
Oh, really?
1 or 2.
Wow.
If I had to tell you, please do.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna play Red Dead 2.
You should on the series consoles. Like the way that game looks, holy,
and
it is amazing.
I agree with Slow-Mo that Gran Turismo is overrated.
It is.
By today's standard, I agree with you.
Gran Turismo is definitely
overrated. I'm a Ridge Racer Daytona USA guy.
Ridge Racer.
Right. I was just about to do that. Right. I did love Ridge Racer. I'll be honest. I loved it much more than GT.
Yeah, I'm an arcade racer over a simulation racer all the time. But at the time, GT had its moment. It definitely did. Now, of course, if we think with our minds of today, games like Forza and all of that have eaten all that lunch. Like it's overrated by today's standards for sure.
No question.
So yeah, I would say about
Virtual Racer. I remember that.
I played that as well. That's,
but
Sega,
I mean, the king,
yes.
the king is F-Zero, right?
Oh well, I love F-Zero too. I wouldn't say it's the king though, but I do love it.
Just saying, that's where I put the most hours in.
Oh man, how much?
I can't hear you. Can't hear you yet.
Pile of shame.
Oh, that's why you were giving us the devilish little smile and smirk right there.
Well, I mean, if we're really being honest with each other, the best racing game really is Mario Kart. Like if we're being honest.
I've always hated that Mario Kart's considered the best racer. Just like I've hated that what do you call it? Mario, the Brawl games are considered like the best fighting game. I'm like,
that's because you got hit with bananas and you slipped on them. Just because you ain't good at it, don't mean it's.
I think
Killer
Instinct was better. At that time, Killer Instinct was better for me. I was about the fire. I was about the Mortal Kombat. The childish stuff was not for me.
I'm with you, KS.
It was not for me. I'm sorry.
I agree.
I was playing Mortal Kombat tournaments back in the day, going, "What is that fake blood? That dust? Nah, man, give me that Sega. Give me that. That's where I was."
I'll add this to that. Like I'm with KS 100%. I love the more mature type of ones and type fighting games. Because of that, I never bothered playing too much of Smash Brothers.
This is completely unrelated, but I always played Street Fighter on the Super Nintendo and Mortal Kombat on the Genesis because it has the blood. But the Super Nintendo Street Fighter 2 was better than the Genesis version of it.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yes.
Yep.
That's when exclusives. That's when the different hardware actually mattered. They really did different things there, And we, like I said, we won't go through this entire list, but Legend of Zelda, OG Legend of Zelda.
Yep, played through it. Yep.
That is a rite of passage.
Hard.
I've actually never played this game. As
hard.
You're freaking kidding me.
I know. I never had a Nintendo. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ.
You have a PC though, so you can
He's like, you have a PC though, don't you?
I will say that was a tough
but you know what? Honestly, these days with this game being so far removed as it is, and there's no real way of getting to play it now unless it's on virtual console.
You know what I want?
You can play that now.
I want a Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And Nintendo should get on that.
And I've even played the side scroller Zelda 2. You remember that?
I do remember. Yes, I do remember side scroller. Yes. Now we'll breeze through this. Little Big Planet. I thought it was fun. It had its moment that it could have been really like mascot of PlayStation, but the platforming was always a little too floaty. right? Because the Media Molecule was on some other stuff. They used this just as an example for their building tech, right? So they didn't give as much love to Little Big Planet as a game as I think they should have, and made that platforming a little tighter. But it still had potential. It had potential to be its Mario of its day. They just never took it to fruition, in my opinion. Did you guys ever like really put some paces through this game or no?
Nope.
I see. This came out initially back in the days where you would just buy games and not know anything about them and play them and then decide you didn't want them no more. So this fell in that thing where I bought it and I was like, I don't like this. Oh well.
Yeah, like I saw it and I would say
the man brings up Road Rash. I love Road Rash
classic,
3D, brother.
Ozzy.
Road Rash 3D was awesome. I'm hoping somebody makes it. You're on your bike and you're kicking people. I love that game.
That's a classic. But
Not a racer, but I want Sega to maybe partner with Uber or something and make a new Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi. Hey.
You know, with Uber, that's an interesting idea. Have Teslas all over the place.
It's Crazy Taxi. Come on,
that's right. That's right. Now, please tell me y'all have played Vice City.
One of my all-time favorite
through fruition.
Fruition several times. One of my all-time favorite games ever made.
For those who've been to the South, I live in Florida. Ocean Avenue, Miami. They literally at the beginning of Ocean Avenue, you look at it and you go, "Wow, Vice City." They took that whole street and made a game.
Nice.
It is Ocean Ave at night. Oh my God, it is literally that game. That is the reason why I'm excited to replay Vice City.
Hey, Kate, one of the things I've always wanted to do is come to Miami and do the dances like while listening to what is that? No one to
the radio station.
Me. I'm actually at your whim. All my defenses down. I always wanted to do that dance when I come to Miami.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, I put many hours, like tens of hours. And when I say tens, I mean 30, 40, 50 hours into every GTA I've played, and I hardly ever played a story. And I did not finish this, and I played this game forever. Because I was just stealing cars, doing races,
around,
not paying attention to none of the story.
Now,
I will say, go ahead.
I was going to say this might be more reason for you to go ahead and get the remaster. Then,
nope, not doing.
See, that's the thing. See, what I will say about that, as historically like wonderful as they are and all of that, if anybody has not played at all, none of the GTA stories. Don't go back and play the old ones because they're all basically fetch quests that suck. I'm sorry, they're all basically fetch quests.
Okay,
but
I'm gonna expose
starting from 4 and 5. Starting from 4 and 5, it's because people have had that fetch quest gameplay sucks idea that you haven't played 5. You need to change that. 5 is different.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Everborn. Expose yourself.
I'm gonna expose myself. Not like literally, because like pause. But because that'd be bad. Yes. In the long tradition of Everfraud, because I've played hundreds of hours of GTA 1 through 3, and they were all fetch quests, and I was tired of pulling people out of their cars and stealing them and getting the cops to chase me and do all of that. I had no interest in GTA 4 or 5. Didn't play them, didn't care about them. I thought I'd said to myself, I'm not doing this again.
You know what I'll say? Part 4, I would say, is more meaningful than Part 5. Part 5 story didn't really wow me, although I did like Michael and the guys with Trevor. I mean, the characters of them, I think you would like. It just
you don't like the memes, nigga. You don't like the memes? Come on.
I saw one video on TikTok and they had Trevor walking up to Franklin, and the guy just kept punching him and knocking him down and knocked him at the last hit. He hit his head on the what do you call it? The mailbox. It was hilarious as hell. But anyway,
so I agree about the fetch quest stuff, but I would say for the graphics and the fidelity and the political points being made, play 5. But if you like a full complete story, 4 and 5 is when they started changing that fetch quest mentality. Yeah. I hear you, Everborn. It gets grating after a while, and it makes you never want to continue. But I will tell you, honestly, 4 is when the spark started. 5 is you can live in that world. Like, and it's not just fetch quests. There are people who play that game and just go and play poker for hours.
No,
there are people
that's my point. That's what I used to do with all of the games. I would just be in the world, driving around, trying to get money, get cars.
But now that world is far more than it used to be. Now you can follow a dude to his work, follow him after he's done with work, follow him to his house where he plays with his kids. They all have lives, and it's very intricate. And the story also lends.
You don't want me to have a life and play the other things in my backlog because I'm stuck in this world. No, thank you, sir. That's why I stopped playing Destiny.
It's a trap.
After 500 hours.
It is a trap. But this game is a triumph on a technical level beyond compare. And I'm not talking about San Andreas. I'm talking about 5. You know, that's the reason why they keep remaking it and keep re-releasing it. It is so intricate. So everyone needs to at least play a little bit of it.
It's very engrossing. I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah.
It's like a very realized world.
Yeah, and Slow-Mo traditionally being correct again. GTA 5 Online ruined Rockstar. Yep, they stopped innovating. Exactly.
Don't tell Slow-Mo he's correct about anything. It's going to go to his head, and he's going to think he has grand ideas. Stop it.
Come on now. The homie Slow-Mo has good points. We'll point it out when he does.
Sometimes.
And when he slanders, we'll point that out as well.
He says that GTA is overrated. We just wanted to smash hookers, kill them, and take their money back.
That's all it is, right? and I'm gonna quote if I hear one more Zelda jab, I'm gonna quote Ozymandias 88. We're gonna change his name from Slow-Mo to Block-Mo.
Wow. This is great. All right. So this is on my backlog because at the time it came out, there was just too many of these movies out that I was watching, and I got this was grating. It's almost like, oh, y'all trying to jump on the train? Yeah, I saw Bad Boy.
I know what you mean.
The black exploitation.
That it was too much at the time. Yeah. So and all the and the way they were talking and everything else, I just thought it wasn't earned. I did not appreciate it at the time.
I definitely understand. I beat it though, of course. I just want to say that.
I've never played Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 1 I played. Baldur's Gate 2 I wasn't interested. It wasn't my type of game.
Yeah, not my type either.
Yeah, so we'll move quickly along. And there you go. Sons of Liberty.
That's the one.
Yeah, we we hit that. Mm-hmm. Gran Turismo, OG Gran Turismo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Wind Waker.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Some people hate Wind Waker.
Some people are stupid.
IGN, too much water.
Oh man!
Did you notice in Psychonauts 2 they had the level towards the end where you're on the boat and they're kind of playing the Wind Waker music?
Yes, they kind of put a little Easter egg in there. Yes,
a lot of people are not cultured in this Zelda lore, but it's okay. I got it.
I didn't.
You're gonna get timed out, bro. I've given all these people moderator access. So,
hey, there go. He's not wrong though. That gold cartridge absolutely had me like, oh, get it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember putting your cartridges in the freezer because they wouldn't work?
Oh yeah.
Did anybody else?
I did that. Put it in the freezer, blow on it.
My uncle was this expert where he would just get the cartridge. I don't want to blow into the mic, but he would blow into it spectacularly. Put it right back in. It worked easily. I tried to do it. It never worked.
Half-Life.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. PC.
You finished both of you.
Yep.
Oh, that's
I didn't
wonderful.
finish it, but I put hours, many hours into Half-Life.
Half-Life 2 at least.
I haven't.
Half-Life 2 is better than 1 by many, by a lot of. You got to play
way better. Yeah.
Yes.
I heard it was.
Skyrim.
Shameful. And this is part of the issue of life because Oblivion had me caught in it so hard and heavy. That's one of those engrossing games too. I just didn't touch anything for like a month because I was so busy. It's just stuck in that world. Skyrim, I knew that if I got into it, I'd do the same. So I kind of delayed it playing other games and never did. And like you, K, I kept buying the new editions that kept coming out. So I have the new edition up to now to the Xbox One. And then I'll have the special edition.
For those who don't know, one of the greatest experiences you can have. You want to spend time in a world and lose yourself for a long time. I'm not saying regular Skyrim. I'm saying on PC with a bunch of mods in VR. Oh boy, that game is ridiculous. and people like do crazy things in there. Don't even follow the storyline. Just go around and explore in VR with a bunch of mods that make it look like 3D, almost like realistic. Insane. Anyway, let's continue.
I gotta get on that.
Twilight Princess. We've already hit that. Yes, we've already hit that. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect in general.
Yes, all three of them.
Absolutely.
We don't even have to go over this.
Required reading.
That's one in the
Tekken
series. Too.
3.
Beloved.
Also,
one of my all-time favorite fighting games.
There we go. That's right. Mortal Kombat. Batman Arkham City.
Probably the best superhero game ever made. Absolutely.
I don't think we get Spider-Man 2018 if it wasn't for the Arkham series.
For the Arkham games. Yes. Arkham series as a whole. I agree.
Yep.
The Orange Box. Please tell me y'all bought this.
I've never heard of this.
I bought it and played through it. Yep. Bought it and played through it.
Okay. The Orange Box is a compilation of Half-Life 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Half-Life 2 episode 1 in there. That's where you get introduced to Alex from Half-Life Alex. That's where she first shows up. You get your Portal 1. It was like the biggest, baddest bundle that could ever exist when it came out.
Yeah.
But yes.
Until Halo MCC.
Awesome. Yes, it was the Halo MCC of its time, for sure. Now, Resident Evil 4.
One of the best Resident Evils ever made. Absolutely.
I agree. How about you, Everborn?
Yes.
You played through it?
Yep.
Okay. And for those who are VR capable, it's been re-released in VR, and supposedly it does a very good transition. So
can we talk about Resident Evil 5 for a second?
Let's talk about it. You talking about? Don't tell me you're going to talk about Chris punching that boulder.
No, I want to talk about how they just had that Resident Evil 4 was the Resident Evil where they just had us out there shooting black people in Africa. That didn't really look like zombies.
I hated that game. I really hated that game. I really did.
And everybody was just acting like this shit is cool. Like
I was offended by it. For sure. As an African on the panel, I was offended by it. For real.
I was like,
I really was.
What is going on here?
Oh,
and you know what's crazy? I was such a Resident Evil fan. I didn't realize it until I'm like a half hour into the game. And I saw all the trailers. I knew what was coming. I was like, oh, this looks amazing. This looks amazing. And I get in here and I start to think about like, what is going on here?
Yep.
You know, I'll say this.
Devil, racist as F for sure.
I want to say this just to give a little pushback on it. I did initially, once I got to that part with the boat and I saw the guys with like spears, I was like, wait a minute. That part got me. But I'll say this. All the other Resident Evils, we killed plenty of white zombies. So
true.
Not the same.
That's why
But you know why? You know why it's not the same? Because the heroes are white and the zombies are white. There have never been black heroes. And the first time you show them, you murking left and right.
Yeah,
I hated it. It was upsetting.
Well, to be fair, Shiva was black though. So, right. Oh, and by the way, Code Veronica was spectacular. By the way,
yes, Code Veronica was spectacular. And I played that on Dreamcast like ridiculously. I loved that game.
Same.
Now, Uncharted 2.
Yep, loved it.
Who hasn't played Uncharted 2 here? I'm just shaming you, bro. You need to play the Uncharted series. You need to play it. For real, you need to play Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 and 3 and Lost Legacy. You really need to play that. You do. It is like some of PlayStation's best, for sure. And by and large, it holds up. The 30 frames thing is a little problematic for now, but I'm sure that they're gonna clean that up and ask you for an asshole tax. It is what it is.
Just one more thing on Resident Evil 5.
Before you go, you have to get your righteous shame. Shame.
Where's the bell?
Where's the bell?
We should get a bell. It's a good show.
Ding.
Like ILP has the fraud alert. We should get the shame bell.
We should get the bell. That's right.
No, but with Resident Evil, you have agents of the government, basically cops, going into black neighborhoods, thinking that they're the enemy, and we got to shoot him and take him down. It is not. The optics are horrible. Horrible, terrible.
That's a good
point.
So
it's not the same if you were shooting all white people. It's very different.
Anyway, moving quickly along.
I can do a whole show
GoldenEye.
about that, by the way. But anyway,
I know you can.
We'll have a spaces about it one day.
Exactly.
We should. Yes, GoldenEye. Now, for those who have played GoldenEye, have you played the new one that was like caught in rights, Michigan? So somebody just released it online and you can like play it. Like you can play on PC. I think I even have a copy of it. I might
played it with the one joystick.
Yeah, you can play this now on PC where they made a remake. And here's a quick aside: they made a remake for 360, right? Exactly the same way where Halo Anniversary was, where you press a button and you see the old versus new, right? And they have the remake version and the OG version, and you could play it. And it was complete, ready to go. Then they didn't release it, and eventually they put it on the internet, so you can actually play that.
Can we talk about how Nintendo expected us to have 3 hands?
Well, the 64 controller.
Oh, here we go. And this is the
Leon the colonizer. Yes, talk about it.
Oh man,
hey, you can't slander my boy.
Love it.
Leon is
love
one of
it.
my favorite.
Love it.
Leon is a white devil.
Hey, he just wanted.
That's what I'm here for. All the slander. I'm here for the slander.
He just wanted to get the white princess back. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we'll move quickly along because we already spoken BioShock, right?
Yeah.
And if you haven't played it, we've also spoken Half-Life 2. See where it's on the list.
Mm-hmm. Love NFL
2K1.
Yep. Yes. I remember that.
Even I played this. Yes.
Yeah.
On Dreamcast. I played it on Dreamcast.
You can scroll past.
Oh boy, another one of those.
Keep scrolling. You already know the answer.
Another one of those.
Keep scrolling.
I played only a bit of Odyssey.
With their ungrateful, raggedy. You know what?
You raggedy.
You raggedy princess.
And I know she been sleeping with Bowser all these years. And then she got caught in the act. And now
so
she
you're
want
trying
to
to say that allegory of Bowser being a black man is true? Is that what you're saying? They stealing all our white women? Is that what you're saying?
I never thought about that, but you might be right.
Yeah.
I need to research this.
She pretends to be kidnapped.
Okay. Bowser's always coming there.
This is the Gaming Woke podcast. Take the red pill, baby.
This is the tinfoil hat podcast. This is what this is.
Said that Leon puts raisin in his potato
Bowser
salad.
is the victim, right? Because the temptress Princess Peach has seduced him to in order to make Mario notice her again, and then he runs after her, and then she wants to go back. Mario is a cuckold.
This is going to be a bunch of clips in this episode. God. Did you say Mario's? No, okay, I'll move on. And we've already spoken about GTA 3. My problem with GTA 3 is the silent protagonist. That felt a little bit, but it's out there.
I didn't like that either, but this Grand Theft Auto 3 is in my probably top 3 of all time.
Indeed, for sure.
Yep.
Needs to be played. Metroid Prime.
Yep.
Just a
Absolutely.
bit.
Just a bit. I'll let you. I'll allow it because that control scheme was garbage. But you should try and replay it if you can because I think they updated it. I think they added it. Yeah, I think so.
Was this for the GameCube?
This was for the GameCube and the Wii.
Okay, I have it on my PC.
We'll move quickly along, good sir.
I see them comments. I see the comment section is on fire.
Simple ain't easy.
I'm loving the comments.
Don't highlight it.
No.
I see that one.
Yep, I see you.
Hold on a minute. It's true though.
Oh,
we're moving on. That's what we're doing. We're moving on. You want to know what we're talking about? Rewatch this episode and follow the chat. We're not posting that one. Perfect Dark.
Yep.
I wouldn't call it pile of shame for me.
Well, hold on. Wait. Which Perfect Dark is that? Is that Perfect Dark Zero?
OG Perfect Dark from N64.
Okay. Not the 360 Perfect Dark. Okay.
I didn't know it had a 97 though. Wow.
Oh yeah, it was considered really high back in this day.
I see. Tony Hawk, yep, absolutely.
I would say Tony Hawk franchise. I actually rebought the 1 and 2 remake that they did. Oh, it's still
I bought a lot of the Tony Hawk games and never played them. I just
so you like never played a Tony Hawk?
No, I've played them, but like not like I'm putting time into this. Right?
It's a great palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just bring up? I'm ashamed that it's not. Well, not I'm ashamed that they wrote the list, but can we just appreciate for a second SSX and SSX.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
bro. I still play that on the Series X. Like through back compat, they brought it up to 4K. I play, radio, like the radio stations and I still play it to this day.
I gotta play it again. It's been a while.
It is awesome, and it's cheap. It's cheap on Xbox. And it lives. Through back compat, they really bring it down. It's so much fun.
I gotta play it again.
Yeah. Oh, we have Cologne up in here. Welcome, good sir.
What's happening?
Yes. We appreciate you for checking us out, good sir.
And the guest is Infinite Umbra. If you're not following him, everybody.
If you're not following him, you should be. You should be for sure. Breath of the Wild.
Of course.
Yep. Played it.
Did you finish it?
I haven't finished.
You're not talking to me. I know you're not talking to me.
I haven't finished it, but I have it on my Nintendo otherwise. My external.
You know what I didn't play? I didn't play the expansion.
I played the expansions. Yeah, I have all of them on the Switch. What I will say, I'm not advocating, but I will say it plays better on PC by far. Like I finished it on console. I finished it on my Switch. I actually finished it on the Wii U, believe it or not. I have it there. And I also bought it on Switch as well. On PC, you can add like ray tracing, you can add 4K, you could do a bunch of crazy stuff, and it's amazing, that game. It's become the poster child for emulation. It's
I have
really
I have the NVIDIA like game. I don't know what they call it. The NVIDIA. I have the NVIDIA gaming on here, so it includes it as well too for the.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Perfect, man.
This man over here he's trying to cause some static. See, and number 8 on the list, GTA 5. We'll move along, but it's worthy. As is Red Dead Redemption 2.
I haven't played either.
Beloved, one of my all-time favorite games ever made.
I actually loved Galaxy 2 more than one.
I
don't remember enjoying one more than the other, but I played and finished both of them.
Yeah, I think they were great games. I really do think they're absolutely great games. We have both of them here, and we're rounding the bottom. There you go, Soul Calibur.
Wow,
Oh, such a great game.
Yeah,
such a great game.
It was a great game, but like, is it?
I loved it. Dreamcast.
It's an artifact of its time. It has not matured.
Yeah.
Was it? I never felt like it was a 98 at the time, though. Like that's crazy.
Man,
like I liked it.
I don't know. I don't know how I would have rated it, but I loved it.
I can't believe on this list, GTA 4 ranks much higher than 5.
Way too high up.
Surprising to me.
Wait, hold on. Now that I see this character, I did play this game for like 2 hours.
Cousin,
you play this with Nico Balak?
Yeah,
Nico, my cousin Nico.
Cousin.
Yeah, I actually did play this. I lied to you. I played it.
I didn't like the world. It was too gray and grimy a little, but I did like the story.
It was kind of gray, wasn't it? Yep. Mm-hmm. But how was RDR2 under that? What?
Yeah, I think that's strange. Now, of course, yes, those who played know Tony Hawk 2. If you like it, that is the tip of the spear. There's no game better. It's absolutely awesome. Mm-hmm. Now, I wouldn't say no game of its kind that is better.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. And let's see what they put on the list here. Oh, this will make everyone quite happy.
Well,
the number one game.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to say something. While this game deserves to be very close to this spot, it is not better than Link to the Past. I said it. I stand by it. And I will fight anybody who wants to fight about it. Link to the Past is the greatest Zelda game ever made. And Ocarina of Time is the second greatest, but it is not better.
Yeah, so I agree. Link to the Past should have been higher. Also, Halo, like Pixel Bit G's pointed out, was way too low down.
Way too low on the list. Way too low. Yeah, this list is skewed. It is what it is.
The top 3 Zeldas ever made in this order were Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, and Breath of the Wild. I absolutely love Breath of the Wild.
And I'm going to throw one in here that will get everybody upset with me, but I stand by it.
And the 4th is Wind Waker.
Objectively, in my humble opinion, the best game ever made, hands down, Tetris. Let's move on, shall we?
We might as well go to Pong.
What about Pac-Man?
Absolutely, I got a Pac-Man.
No, but the reason why I say Tetris is the best is because it keeps getting iterated on, and newer versions are still finding new audiences. When was the last time you played a great new Pac-Man? When was the last time you played a great new Pong? Tetris Connected still captures audiences today. And that game was, when was it? 80s or whatever?
But
the dude who made that got
here's
shafted.
The difference. Here's the difference with Pong and Pac-Man. You can still play the old games. You don't need to remake them. You don't need to recapture people.
No, I get that. I get that, but
no Chrono Trigger on the list.
I know, no Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
this is a bad list. Like I said at the top of this, this was just a list that was picked. It's not the definitive. I'm sure if you go to IGN's list, you'll get a whole bunch of different things that are left off as well. This was just a backbone to frame our conversations. And as you guys have rightly done so, you brought up some other games that are not even on this list that should be, we just wanted like a bearing,
Hey, gamer hot take. Final Fantasy Tactics is the best Final Fantasy.
Oh, I'm sure some will fight you on that.
That's a hot take right there.
I'm sure some will fight you on that for sure. But okay. So this has been fun. We've been going through it. The list was, the list. It is what it is. Calm down. It's not every game is on y'all list. I get it. Slow mo. Calm yourself. All right. It's cool. Be easy. But this tells you, and I hope this teaches us that we should kind of dig in the crates a little bit. There are some games that really deserve a second viewing, especially now that we live in that Game Pass world. We live in the world where back compact games can be given fresh energy, fresh light, and given a new look, right? A new game is a new game to a person who hasn't played it yet. So even if it's a couple years old, you might find that, hey, this is worth your attention, right? Yeah. So, I hope that's what this promotes rather than, that gatekeeping BS of, hey, you haven't played this.
Hey, speaking of backlogs and games that I wish more people would have played, how'd you guys do with Quantum Break?
I loved Quantum Break.
Loved it.
Loved it.
I haven't played yet.
It's so good.
Another one that I wish would have gotten sort of the AAA treatment, but it was more of a AA game. And I hope they do a sequel, and I know they never will, but give it like the full treatment. Is
and a lot of places, a lot of people Recore. Okay,
I want Recore because you could do Recore in the concept of it is pretty similar to Horizon.
I'm sorry, I got to put this out there. In succession, Quantum Break is underrated.
Wow.
Unlike Zelda. I'm sorry, continue.
No, I would love to see because I love the play style of Recore.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it given the care and attention that Horizon got. Because the play style in and of itself reminds me, funny enough, of Returnal.
Yeah, I can see that. I've heard people say that too.
Right? Not saying you should compare those two. You shouldn't. It's not the same. But I'm just saying
a different love. Yeah.
The way the shooting and the dodging and the things. I'm just saying I would love to see them take another crack at Recore, but actually take it seriously.
See, but the problem is, much like you and GTA, Recore left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I don't think because of that Xbox is ready to, unless they have one of their devs go, hey, we really want to do it. It seems to me that they are not ready, much like Crackdown. They are not ready to take another bite at that apple.
Well, here's the thing. It couldn't happen. Right? Xbox would have to prove themselves as a first-party powerhouse for the next
order to dig to
half a decade before they can dig in the crate and bring back some of these other things. Because once people trust the quality of their work,
then they'll be willing to give them another stab.
Exactly.
I hear you.
Something I thought about.
Go ahead, Umber.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say something I thought about on that. I think the initiative may be the company they're going to, the devs they're going to use to do that purpose.
Hey, we don't know where they are, right? Right now, I think the initiative is a very interesting idea. They start the initiative and get others to finish it. We'll see what they do after round 2.
Yeah,
right? But I think unfortunately, you would get Quantum Break or a Rise 2 before you got a Recore because people don't remember Recore fondly the way they talk about Quantum Break and Rise. So
and technically Recore was their fault, whereas Quantum Break really wasn't. Recore, they didn't put enough into it, and that's solely on them. Quantum Break gets a bad rap, and people put that as a noose around Microsoft's neck. But
I don't know
digging
about
into
that,
the
though.
digging through the background, like Quantum Break, it was a bad look for them in Remedy. It soured their relationship. You know, there's the back and forth.
We'll
Same
see
thing
with
as
this whole Smilegate thing if that works
exactly
out with Crossfire X.
Because have we seen Crossfire recently? It's still one of those, ethereal things.
What I'm saying is right now, if E3 2022 comes up and they say we're remaking Rise and we're not remaking, but doing a sequel to Rise and Quantum Break,
full effect today, man. He's in full effect, man.
No.
Jesus. What are we doing over here?
No, I played all of Rise.
But Rise, Quantum Break, if they announced that they were making sequels to those in E3 2022, it would be looked at as a W. Everybody across the board would be happy with. I haven't talked to one person that was like, Rise or what do you call
really
it?
dug Rise. Yep, for sure. Yep.
No, Rise is one of those is even crazier because there's secret fan groups about how Rise was.
But the problem with Rise is that the gameplay was too shallow. It started shallow and it ended shallow.
That can be fixed. You have it has the sentiment. You can fix that in the sequel.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's potential for growth. It doesn't have to be Son of Rome. It could be Rise, Son of Egypt. It could be Rise, Son of Go wherever you want. It could be their version of Assassin's Creed.
The game is 7 years old. I honestly thought at the time when I beat it, because of the way how they brought the gods into it, and then the main dude died at the end. I honestly thought it was going to turn into their version of God of War. Where because you were dealing with the
but it was more grounded though. They weren't going.
No, it was. I just thought that's the way they were going to take it in the future. I thought that it was going to evolve into something
crazy.
You're fighting against the gods.
But even within that specific genre, they could have stayed exactly where they were and just done the Assassin's Creed thing. Different location, different historical events. And it's unfortunate that there was that old Microsoft has a lot of unfinished business, and unfortunately, I don't think they'll ever go back to it because a lot of those things, for one reason or another, left bad taste in people's mouths. So it's kind of like let's just move on, kind of thing. And they're swimming in IP now, so it's kind of like.
And I also need to add that I've only played Recore on xCloud.
Okay.
And
Recore is an underrated game. It really has.
No, it is, but it's a great mobile game. Because I played it with the thing, and so maybe that's why I like it more than a lot of other people.
I gotta try that. I'm gonna try it on my PC.
I played it with the back.
It's on Game Pass still.
It's actually pretty good in that sense. If you're not expecting it to be Horizon,
the platforming is very interesting. I really do like it. The crazy platforms and the little robot guys that deal with you. It was a very interesting thought of it. The story could have been fleshed out a bit more to really hone it in, but that's where the potential was squandered, I suspect, right? So, okay, we are around 3 hours in, right? We've had so much talk. I don't know about
y'all. I'm only 2 hours in. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I know. He's ready to go. He's raring to go. But we have more to conversate with you a little later, everyone. But I think we're rounding about the bottom of the show here. And, of course, Cologne had to somebody has to bring up Scalebound. Somebody has to, it's like that black eye.
I never cared about Scalebound, even when it was first announced. But now I want them to bring it out just so people will shut up about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about Scalebound either until I heard international users go, "Yo, that's the first game that really spoke to me about Xbox and all that."
Who did you hear say that?
You know who I heard say that.
Yeah,
exactly. Do you believe them?
Who I heard say that.
You know what?
I'm the type of person. I will not go to that cynical place. I will meet you where you live. I will, in an earnest fashion. If that's where you were with it, I hear you.
Yeah, but that's not where
you are also a pundit that spends time like digging through the details. And if you dig enough through the details, you'll know that that's not a black eye on Xbox. That's a black eye on the development team, Platinum, and all of that. And actually, Xbox was generous enough not to put their business out there like that. Because had they, it would have been a whole different thing.
If anybody was hype for Scalebound, they would have completed the project. They looked at it, and they knew nobody cared about it, and it wasn't worth wasting more money.
The minute I saw the Beats by Dre knockoffs on Homeboy, I was like, this is not it for me.
Hey, Slow Mo said me to say it. I know exactly who it is. And so does Umbra. And listen.
We all know. We're not going there.
They did not care about Scalebound at all.
It was just about using it
as an opportunity.
It was definitely
it was bullets for the console war gun. I know.
It was.
I know.
I'll say this though, much like Pixel Bit G, I actually was kind of excited for Scalebound because I actually really like Platinum. I was actually outside, like he said, outside of the Dante clone. Absolutely, I was thinking it might have been something special. But
one of my favorite Platinum games
either though.
Did y'all ever see they made a Gen 1 Transformers game? Platinum did.
Yeah, that was
where you could transform at will at any time. It was a little shallow, but no other game has ever like completed the vision of Transformers like they did, and I was just so happy for it. I wish they had continued that. At any moment, transform, and you just and it was OG Transformers. I loved that game.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
half of Platinum games are trash. They are hit or miss. Always have been.
So Slow Mo, we're gonna have to move this to Spaces so people can rebut all of your slanders. He's just out in the chat, just like dropping bomb after bomb.
You still owe Slow Mo a debate that I'm trying to bet money on, and I feel like you're ducking me, man.
I want to host that Spaces.
Let's do this.
The trial of Slow Mo.
You and Slow Mo might have forgot about it. But
No. So just a quick aside. The reason why the conversation of that is. As soon as the initiative was come out to say that they're now backing, they're now using triple dynamic, and I won't drop at the D, try dynamic. As soon as it was found out that that's what they were doing, right? Slow Mo came out. How could you be quad A if you say that? And my sentiment on it was, first off, they didn't officially come out as quad A. Right, it was a post that was then removed later, and people were just like, oh well, whatever. And then secondly, their name is the initiative. They're doing something that's never been done before. They start the initiative, they make something, and then they hand it off to a big money AAA house to finish. How many other teams can say they can do that? Oh no, we're not hiring, Port House. No, we're hiring a AAA high clip budget team to finish our idea so that we can then go make another AAA high. But how are you gonna call, even in the world where they didn't, let's say they did call themselves Quad A, that's some big major money moves right there. That's Quad A if I've ever heard of it.
Wow,
who can hire?
Are you saying that the initiative made Crystal Dynamics their bitch?
Kinda. You got the money, right? They got the money. We shall see where this leads. It could all end up in shit, of course. I'm not saying that. But to then say, oh, that makes them less than what we initially thought, that's not to me, that's not 1 + 1 does not equal 2 there. And that's what he wanted to debate, I think. Anyway, and we can still have that conversation because I honestly think that once we see the initiatives work, how else can you make? Because to my understanding, they're trying to make that PlayStation level quad AAA huge budget stuff, right? Every the team that has done that has devoted years of their lives to getting that.
Slomo is asking if this is going to be how they continue to do things, where
that's the question.
Well, they've always said they wanted to stay small and agile.
That's right.
What does
that's what tells me that's what that is.
Mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Right now, they have 70 people on their team. Mm-hmm. In general, when you say
vets, though,
that's where I'm going. When you say 70 people, that automatically means you're not AAA. You can't make a game at that high clip with only such small people. But no, they are a team of operators, high intelligent. And they've all been poached from PlayStation houses and other AAAs. There is no entry-level positions among their ranks. So you can see a world where they got huge money pools backing them up. They hand Crystal Dynamics this work. while Crystal D is working on it, pause. Wow. They can come back to them as escalation.
You said they
needed.
Told Crystal D they about to get this work.
Wow. Did they tell them they're going to give them the Crystal D?
they can hand that off to them. If there's escalation necessary, you can come back to the initiative to handle whatever escalation is necessary. And while that's happening, they can start the initiative on another project. So before long, you have many very high level, and maybe that team is a different AAA high budget team that then takes that. That is something you've never seen before. True. Because let's be frank, PlayStation doesn't have the money to do that. No other company has the money to hand off and basically hire huge AAA studios to do this work. And it's not just, hiring you. This is like going to a club that's not for rent and going, nah, I'm renting this mother. That's what they did. Whole thing out, right? This club is not for rent. It's not empty space.
Slow-mo says that he's watched all of their videos discussing their studios, and he said they never position themselves as a pre-production management studio that does game design and hires someone else to actually make it.
Sure. But if you also look at the most recent Matt Booty interview, he basically said exactly that and said, look, we have to change with the times. We started this initiative. At the time we did, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We can't staff up that way. So we've changed. Now that's what brings up the interesting question. Is this the way they will move forward? I suspect if it's successful, they may move forward that way. But there's also a world in where, we're past the pandemic, hopefully sooner rather than later. Now all of a sudden there's far more talent, and then they are able to staff up. Yeah. Both worlds are possible, right? Absolutely. I'm just saying, to say that all of a sudden they're hiring Crystal Dynamics, so that makes them less than, that's short-sighted. Because who can hire Crystal Dynamic? Nobody can hire Crystal Dynamic.
I got to know how you know. You know how you know that? Hold on a second. You know how you know no one can hire Crystal Dynamics? Because no one has.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that is big money moves if I've ever seen it. So don't sit there and put disrespect on their name because all of a sudden they need to hire a AAA. Good luck trying to hire a AAA. Nobody can, but they did.
What would you guys feel about them actually outright acquiring Crystal Dynamics? If you think
that's an interesting situation,
maybe along with the rest of Square Enix's Western
division,
crazy.
Now you guys are talking about a 5-hour podcast. We need to slow down.
Maybe Square Enix hasn't been very happy with their Western divisions as of late.
We're talking a 5-hour podcast. People, strap in.
It's one of my top 3 most wanted to buy.
They let IO Interactive go and let them keep the IP.
Yeah, and who's IO working with now? Xbox.
Right. They and all of their Japanese studios are producing. So maybe look at what Avengers. Look at what happened with Avengers. Maybe they just want to cut and run. Yep. And maybe Xbox can take the leftovers.
Don't hype me up now. Don't hype me up because I've been on that whole acquire Square Enix train for a while.
And Cologne is money right there, man. We need more Deus Ex. Please bring that.
You know how long I used to call that Deus Ex?
Deuces X. And on the Deuces note, we're round at the bottom of the show at this point. But Infinite Umbra, brother, man, it has been a pleasure. It has been wonderful having you on the show. If this has not given you the podcasting bug, I don't know what will. You came here, you conquered. This was awesome. We hope to have you back. Please tell the fine people where they can find you on the internet. Tell them what you do, and make sure they can follow you and keep up with your exploits. Go ahead.
You guys, I believe most of you follow me, but you can find me on Twitter right now as under Eternal. Excuse me, I'm get confused because I'm Eternal on YouTube, but you can find me as Infinite Umbra on of course on Twitter. I want to just say this. Thank you guys for allowing me to come here and have just a real discussion with you. This was like just talking games with buddies, right? This is what this felt like.
That's what it's about, man.
I want to thank you, Kay, for just being so inviting and warm, receptive to walk me through everything to get into this. This is my first podcast ever, and the experience was great. So you're right. If this didn't convince me to do it, nothing else will. And I
was telling this man, he shouldn't be nervous. He's out there spitting bars in front of hundreds all day. You come into the studio, you get nervous? Nah, bro, you good.
Listen, I would honestly, enjoy watching a show with you, Logical, and University.
And University,
I think the chemistry that you guys all have is great, and I think that you can see. Listen, with University like yelling and Logical cutting everybody off, and you trying to rein everybody in, I think it would be perfect. And if I wasn't already on 3 shows, I would love to even join that with you guys. I think
we would love to guest on those shows.
Yeah,
sure.
We haven't started. I gotta have you guys come and guest. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know. I love those guys. You already know they're my boys, but I do wonder how well we would do with the volatile University. I can only imagine we would draw the ire of so many Pegasus Nation members to come into the chat.
Oh,
yeah, but the difference is though, it's not spaces, right? So
that's right.
It's just you guys talking, and you can actually get through a conversation without people coming in and interrupting, except for Logical.
That's true.
But
that's part of it. That's part of
it. Yeah. I think honestly, I think it could work. And like I said, it's a show. It's a different format, so you can choose the topics beforehand. It doesn't have to get like off the rails like that. So
yeah, absolutely. And
he's we're leaving strong. We're just leaving strong. Right?
Slow-mo says
stop it, Slow-mo. Stop it.
Yo.
That's not right.
And y'all need to have Slow-mo as a guest because he can handle that slander, boy.
Yes. No, but I Slow-mo. But while you're here, I'm watching Dune today.
Yes. We need to do that
with you. I'm gonna hit you.
We need to do that
DM.
for sure.
I would love to do it on a Spaces, but at the very least, I gotta call you because I wanna.
I watched Dune twice. Watched it on the day, and I watched it last night again. We all need to sit down and have a conversation. For those who are Dune people, not everybody is. We understand it's an acquired taste, but we need to have that conversation for sure.
I'm gonna watch it actually tonight. Funny enough,
just because Uni's not here, I'm friends with him on Xbox. He does play a lot of games and has a lot of hours put in. I'm just just for the record.
Uni plays the games. He has a Series X too, for those that doubt.
Would y'all stop? Like just defending it means that it needs to be defended. Nobody needs to be defended.
I'm just saying I don't want it to not be said.
I want to verify his credentials in case anyone asks. But
indeed.
I definitely am looking to see who I would work with dynamically, right? So I am looking toward that. I'm trying to see, and I don't want to like ostracize anybody else who may have mentioned it. Well, I said I wanted to join with you too, and then I left them behind, and they're like, "I'm not supporting you. He's a fraud." So I have to keep that in mind too, because some people have absolutely asked if I would join in with them on one. So I just want to wait it out and really get into it and learn the whole process of setting up the things.
Like baby steps. You guys can do audio podcasts alone if you want. There's a market for all of that, but you guys really have something special. You should keep it going. We'll definitely have you guys here. Actually, looking to see if we can get Logical in here. We're looking to see if we can get University in here. We want to get people in here.
Gaming
Please
since
do.
NES because we had some amazing
slanderous
conversation.
The only thing I will say to gaming since NES, there will be no Halo talk up there. There'll be none of that. I'm sorry.
I know, but we had this crazy philosophical discussion last night about violence as a means of progression in games. And we sort of talked about how people say that video games make you violent, but is it if you in fact look at it statistically, we are becoming less violent as a species at a time. Yeah. And so, but we are violent by nature. It's in our DNA.
So maybe video games is helping us alleviate that violence,
right?
So that we don't
people. Perhaps the simulation of violence is what we need to become less violent, right? It was crazy stuff.
That's a great topic, man. We should like dig into that and have an actual proper show. I will say like and here's my cheap VR plug. One of the very last games out there. Out right now, Lone Echo 1 and 2. You don't kill anybody in that game. The tension is high. It's all crazy. It's scary. You don't kill a single soul in that game, but it's still very much there. And not to say that violent video games are bad or whatever. I think that in a world where violent video games are just the standard, to be able to recreate the same level of tension, the same level of like entertainment and gameplay without actually having to resort to that is very commendable. So there's markets for that as well.
Hey, Neo Mental says the Bronx made him violent. I would argue I grew up in the Bronx as well, but I would argue it was my Jamaican parents that made me violent. But that is a conversation for another day.
But you know what? While we're on the topic of conversations for another day, Mr. Everborn Saga, please, you came a little late, but you were right on time, my man. Tell us where the people can find you.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. And even when I'm late, I'm right on time.
I didn't say about that first part, but go ahead and tell people about Everborn Saga. Go ahead.
All right. So yes, Everborn Saga everywhere: Xbox, PlayStation, YouTube.
Not on Oculus,
Twitter.
but we're gonna work on that.
It is, but you can't type.
Can't easily search it. Can't easily search
exactly.
it.
It's like it's not as bad as Nintendo, but it's bad. But
I don't need your social security number.
Yes, Everborn Saga everywhere: Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. But most importantly, everbornsaga.com, where you can get the greatness that is the books in the Everborn Saga, which are Prince of Arcadia and Ariel's Adventure. And we are on November 7th launching our new Kickstarter for the Redlands. It is a heist tale. It is if you mixed Aladdin with Ocean's 11. And it's all in the Everborn universe, taking place at the same time as Ariel's Adventure. And it's with people who look like all of us. It's very important. I'm going to start sharing pages from that soon. And I will be on, I don't know if I can say this, but I will be back on ILP very soon. And I will be able on Games Talk Live with Fonz also very soon during that thing. So Everborn Saga everywhere, and just stay tuned because we're gonna launch we're gonna do the pre-launch page where you can watch it, or just so it'll notify you when the campaign goes live. That's gonna go up in a couple of days. I'm just waiting for Kickstarter to approve it, but it's gonna go officially live on November 7th, and big things happen. So Everborn Saga everywhere, and that's it. That's
Follow these creators, man. Follow these people who put their heart and their work into these spaces and really try to show you yourself represented in this work. And we really appreciate it. So, I'm sure you'll hear more about it as the campaign gets started and all that. But if you are one of the rare among us who are not following Everborn, please correct that as soon as possible. So thank you so much once again. And as for me, TKO Asante, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation. I'm out there. You follow me, I'll follow you back. We enjoy gaming together. We're going to have a lot more fun. We're trying to bring more community members on. Next week, I'm trying to get Drawn TJ on there. He was real good on Boom Show, and we're going to try and get him on this show. And we're going to get all these other community members. If you happen to be somebody who thinks that bug might have caught you and you want to be on this show, you want to have game conversations, please hit me up. The DMs are open. We'll chat. We'll build a show. We'll put something nice together. And we'll come out here and we'll talk and we'll have some fun game talk. It's what we love to do here. So we appreciate all you who happen to show up in the chat, those who consistently do so. Please like, subscribe. We appreciate the fact that, I've heard a lot of comments, a lot of folks who appreciate the work we do here. And, folks who actually have comments, hey, we think you should try this, or we think you should try that. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate that. And because of that, we are actually making the show better. We're adding different effects. We're doing different things. We have big things planned. Both in the both in the regular world and in the virtual world. I'll say we have big things planned. We'll get to it. We promise you we'll do that. But I'll give you guys one last chance to say your piece before we go. Umbra, what you got for the people?
Again, I just want to thank you guys for being such gracious hosts and allowing a brother like myself to join in. I really do love the thought that you're reaching out to the community like that, and that you all don't see yourselves as too big to do so, right? You all will jump into spaces.
We're just gamers, man.
Absolutely. I love it. I love that you all have not allowed, because some people I think we all have seen can allow things to go to their head a bit. And it kind of
this is fun. This just gets me more people to play with. That's what I'm about.
I love it.
This
and
is awesome.
Speaking of which, I gotta add you guys to my to the Xbox Live.
Let's get online, man. When Halo comes out, man, the squad's gonna be deep. 12 people. Shoot, it's gonna be awesome. Can't wait.
I would love it. You all can possibly help me out because I was getting my ad. This big team battle I was getting destroyed, but 4v4 I was okay. Big team battle was a different beast, but absolutely, just love that you all are doing this. I hope you brothers continue to grow. I will always support you and push your work forward. As I also have one of Everborn's book, of course, books as well,
sir.
Of course, and just keep growing, guys. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna rep you, so you already know. Appreciate the chat and everybody that came through for all of us, and my boys that came through. Appreciate it, and that's really good. And I'll see you guys on Twitter in the spaces.
Yeah. And how about you, Everborn? Before while we calling out, we outroing. Show us what you got and tell us what else you want to tell us.
I'm just showing some pages of this new series we're about to launch so people can understand what it looked like. You see what's going on here? I don't really have to talk much. Unlike
Activision, they get the hair right from jump. I'm just saying.
You see it.
If Slow-Mo's still in the chat, unlike Activision, when you see a black man's hair, it actually looks righteous on the screen. Putting that out there. So anyway, as we go, we appreciate everybody who happened to watch. Anybody who happens to catch this later, thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe. Please share it out. Let folks know that we're here and we're talking to the community, and we want you to come and be a part of the community as well. So until next week, I will hit you with this cool outro that the Wandering Dutch himself has blessed us with again. Until next week, folks.
Later, guys.